conducted for Chandranath. He says that there was a clear attempt to even shoot and kill the eyewitnesses who were around in the area. But he in fact also says that this was a revenge killing because the TMC lost the polls in West Bengal. And viewers, remember, TMC Supremo Mamata Banerjee on one hand has refused to step down, and on the other hand, the violence, post-poll violence, targeted violence against BJP Karyakartas has only increased. Viewers, that's all that we could wrap for you in this edition of the News Bulletin. But don't go anywhere. On the other side, BJP Suvendu Adhikari has now alleged that TMC is behind the murder of his close aide Chandranath. In fact, one of the MLA also says that the murder has been orchestrated by Abhishek Banerjee himself. We're getting you all the details into what's true and what's not after this short break. Stay tuned.
Suvendu Adhikari's election back-end person, Chandranath, has been shot at.
ये विवा सिटी अस्पताल है जहां पर चंद्रनाथ रथ को लाया गया था और उनको ब्रॉड डेड यहां पर डिक्लेयर किया गया.
The man who managed the Bhabanipur election for Suvendu Adhikari has been killed. The question is, where is the culpability? You see these windows are being shot at point blank. These are sniper killers. These are professional killers. They're obviously working on the instructions. This is a contract killer.
चमकी चाट से क्या बना है?
सैंडविच, लस्सी और छाछ और
हर घूंट में चमकी चाट. अब बताओ, स्वाद आया? आया.
असली स्वाद सिर्फ चमकी चाट.
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे. केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ.
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार. विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी.
आर प्योर शाही पनीर मसाला, डिलीशियस, हेल्दी एवरीडे.
Approximately 3:30 this afternoon, our plainclothes officers and agents that consistently patrol the outer perimeter of the White House complex identified a suspicious individual that appeared to have a firearm. They called in support from our marked uniformed Secret Service police to make
प्यास बुझाए, ठंडक लाए, सबको भाए जीरा से. MDH का जल जीरा, जीरा से.
जीरा से असली रिफ्रेशिंग, असली स्वाद, असली मजा.
MDH.
रानी, इस घर में कुछ है जो टूटता नहीं.
ये पिलर कभी नहीं टूटेगा. रुंगटा स्टील TMT से बना.
रुंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं. रुंगटा स्टील TMT बार एकदम सॉलिड.
आर प्योर सूजी पास्ता, उबालो, मिलाओ और खाओ.
8 मिनट में तैयार.
क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा, आर प्योर मसाला.
Hello and a very warm welcome. You're watching Republic TV. I'm Yesu Bharadwaj, and viewer Suvendu Adhikari's personal assistant and close aide in West Bengal was shot dead last night from point blank. At least 3 bullet injuries, 2 to his chest, 1 to his abdomen, and postmortem reports say that he succumbed to the injuries right on the spot. Getting you all the details, first here's a check on your headlines for the hour. Take a look.
Headlines brought to you by Canara Bank. Together we can.
Suvendu Adhikari's close aide and personal assistant shot dead at point blank range. Political assassination in Bengal days after Abhishek Banerjee's threat. Suvendu's aide killed in cold-blooded murder. BJP alleges TMC's hand behind the murder. MLA says murder orchestrated by Abhishek Banerjee. More details emerge in the killing of Suvendu Adhikari's right hand. Chandranath was shot dead 60 meters away from his residence. After a failed attempt to prove majority, TVK Chief Vijay rushes to Lok Bhavan to meet Governor. New list likely to come out today. Resort politics begins in Tamil Nadu. Sources say around 40 AIADMK MLAs have been moved to a resort by the High Command. India marks 1 year of Operation Sindoor. Red lines against terror remains firm. One year since Operation Sindoor, Prime Minister Modi reiterates resolve to defeat terrorism that remains steadfast. Viewers, now resort politics has once again begun in Tamil Nadu. Multiple AIADMK MLAs have been shifted from Chennai and taken to a resort in Puducherry. Now this comes after TVK is struggling to get the numbers to form the government even after emerging as the single largest party on the 4th of May, the day of counting for Tamil Nadu Assembly polls. Now as per reports, at least 15 AIADMK MLAs owing allegiance to the AIADMK have been shifted to Puducherry, and in fact more MLAs are expected to reach the same resort just today. Now as per sources, the party remains divided. There is a faction that wants to give support to the TVK, but AIADMK party leadership maintains that TVK did not revert to AIADMK on their possible support for forming a government. Now remember, TVK and the Congress have formed an alliance, and even then the TVK remains for short of seats, and the governor has asked some pertinent questions to TVK chief Vijay, who is looking to form a government in Tamil Nadu. Now, as per sources, the AIADMK, a faction, wants to support the TVK to form the government and has been exerting pressure on AIADMK General Secretary Edapadi K. Palaniswamy in the same regard. However, Edapadi seems to have told the faction and even other leaders that there is no need to extend support to the TVK unless TVK comes from the front and asks for support to form a government in Tamil Nadu. Now, the infamous resort politics is back in the state of Tamil Nadu. These are the visuals that are coming in from inside the resort, where at least 15 AIADMK MLAs have been moved. This is a resort in Puducherry. In fact, more MLAs are expected to reach the same resort today, following the scuffle that has emerged in Tamil Nadu after a hung assembly. The TVK is falling short of the required numbers to form the government in Tamil Nadu. In fact, TVK also joined hands with the Congress. Not just that, AIADMK, a faction within the party, also supported and extended their support to TVK to form the government in an alliance. However, AIADMK's General Secretary Edapadi Palaniswamy maintains that they will not give any support to the TVK unless the party comes from the front and asks for it. In fact, also listen in to my colleague Aishwarya, who reports from Ground Zero on the infamous resort politics.
With the AIADMK's almost 25 MLAs have been given accommodation in this particular resort. As you can see, we are having the inside visuals. This is the house where the entire AIADMK's 25 MLAs are being residing. As you can see, one MLAs are coming and going inside those particular resorts. With there are almost all MLAs coming. Recently, one of the MLAs have just reached as well. Almost the entire resort has been booked so that all the 25 MLAs are not going or not turning into a rebel factor within the AIADMK, so that they can protect them and prove that TVK does not have a majority on the floor. They would not go with the TVK. That is what this particular entire exercise is looking at. If you can see, these are the rooms that are being given to the AIADMK MLAs, and here with the AIADMK.
Now, viewers, in fact, I'm also being joined by my colleague Sarda to get us more updates into the matter. Sarda, the infamous Tamil Nadu resort politics, we can see it on our screens right now. You know, over 15 AIADMK MLAs have been moved. Some more are set to move to the same resort in Puducherry just today. What more details can you get us?
Well, the AIADMK has opted for resort politics now, fearing that their factor that wanted to support TVK might be absent on the day of the floor test. So, Edapadi K. Palaniswamy, after a meeting yesterday with the rebel factor, unanimously decided that the AIADMK will not support the TVK. Vijay will be expected to take the oath today or tomorrow, but however, the governor has given the official call yet. Meanwhile, the AIADMK is taking precautions to make sure none of the MLAs jump shift to the TVK or extend two-thirds support of the party to the TVK. So making sure that all their MLAs are placed together. Safeguarding them is CV Shanmugam, who initially started the rebel factor of supporting the TVK. But however, Edapadi K. Palaniswamy amicably ended the conversation on not supporting the TVK and continued the alliance with the NDA last night. Following that, now AIADMK 40 MLAs are expected to be kept in the resort for the next 2-3 days until the floor test of TVK happens. Meanwhile, as of now, 25 MLAs are in the resort. As you saw, Aishwarya was there.
Yeah, Sarda, in fact, you know, also speak to us about what it's looking for, like for the TVK in the state now. You know, TVK does not have the majority in numbers. They formed an alliance with the Congress, yes, but even that doesn't seem to be enough. And the governor has asked some pertinent questions to Vijay as well. So what is that situation looking like? Government formation now in a limbo. And, you know, this could trigger the governor's rule also in the state, given the fact that M.K. Stalin has resigned. His resignation was also accepted with immediate effect. Sarda.
MK Stalin has decided and governor has accepted resignation. The governor did give a call telling that the DMK rule will continue in the state until the next government is formed. Though there is no chief minister or ministers, it is the DMK rule that continues until the next government is formed. While TVK has 113 members after the Congress has joined them for an alliance, there is also talks with the CPI, CPM and the left parties VCK, which are to give their decisions by tomorrow or day after, because they all have the general body meeting tomorrow, following which the Communist and the Marxist Communist and the VCK will be taking the decisions whether to support the TVK and or not, because they had an important meeting with MK Stalin today about the current scenario and also clearly stated that there is no peer pressure from the DMK asking them not to shift to TVK. So meanwhile, the decision is left in the hands of these left parties who will either decide to ally with TVK. But however, Congress is already starting to say that the governor does not get to decide that the majority numbers is 118 and that the party should be allowed to take oath as the chief minister. Vijay should be allowed to start his governance and then give a floor test with the party present in the assembly, and they will decide whether the TVK can continue to be the majority and rule the state or not.
Right, Sarada, in fact, continue being with us. I will come back to you. But before that, let's also take a look at what Aishwarya has to say. She is right inside the resort in Puducherry, where at least 15 of these AIADMK MLAs have been moved, with, like you said, more slated to move to the same resort by this evening on Thursday. Let's take a listen into what Aishwarya has to say.
With the AIADMK's almost 25 MLAs, I've been given accommodation in this particular resort. As you can see, we are having the inside visuals. This is the house where the entire AIADMK's 25 MLAs are being residing. As you can see, one MLAs are coming and going inside those particular resorts. With there are almost all MLAs coming. Recently, one of the MLAs have just reached as well. Almost the entire resort has been booked so that all the 25 MLAs are not going or not turning into a rebel factor within the AIADMK, so that they can protect them and prove that TVK does not have a majority on the floor. They would not go with the TVK. That is what this particular entire exercise is looking at. If you can see, these are the rooms that are being given to the AIADMK MLAs, and here with the AI.
Viewers, now quickly cutting across right back to West Bengal, where Akhilesh Yadav has now showed up to meet Mamata Banerjee, and this comes after Suvendu Adhikari's PA, his close aide, was killed just late last night in a cold-blooded political assassination. Take a look at this. SP chief Akhilesh Yadav has now arrived in West Bengal. He's meeting TMC's Supremo Mamata Banerjee, the chief minister who's refused to resign, who continues to make a joke of India's democracy, and she is now raking up a constitutional crisis. But this is the imagery of what the India bloc stands for, essentially, with Akhilesh Yadav greeting her with a chadar atop her shoulders. He's come to meet Mamata Banerjee, who has lost the West Bengal elections, and how. These are the fresh visuals that we're getting for you. First on Republic TV that you're seeing these visuals. Akhilesh Yadav arriving at Mamata Banerjee's residence after she was defeated by a huge margin in West Bengal. Now remember, this comes at the heels of political violence erupting across areas in West Bengal. BJP karyakartas being targeted in incidents that are not isolated anymore, with the most severe one taking place just late last night, where Chandranath, Suvendu Adhikari's personal assistant and also a very close aide who's been with him for years now through the West Bengal elections, was shot dead. He's in fact been reported to have succumbed to 3 three bullet injuries, 2 to his chest, 1 to his abdomen. And despite that, remember, TMC also put out a message condemning the violence. But remember, the BJP has been alleging that this violence has been orchestrated by Abhishek Banerjee and the TMC workers at large. They have held the Trinamool Congress responsible for the BJP Karyakartas, and especially Chandranath, who was killed late last night, just 60 meters from his residence in West Bengal. And remember, the BJP has in fact said that all of these deaths, all of this violence will be recounted for, and a befitting reply will be given to the TMC workers that have been creating a ruckus. Remember, Mamata Banerjee on one hand has refused to step down as the Chief Minister of West Bengal, raking up a constitutional crisis. My colleague Harsha joins us to get us more details into the matter. Harsha, speak to us about what's unfolding. You know, it's almost bizarre to see SP Chief Akhilesh Yadav going in to greet and meet Mamata Banerjee after such a huge loss that she was faced with in West Bengal. Not just that, she continues to rake up a constitutional crisis, and even then, SP Chief has gone in to meet her. Harsha.
She can do whatsoever, Gesu, she wants to. She can just gather all the India Alliance partners, Samajwadi Party, DMK, RJD and others as well. And she can gather everyone at his place, but nothing is going to work for her. She can also go to Supreme Court. But 8th May is the day when the assembly is dissolving. And once the assembly dissolves, she resigns, she goes to the governor, doesn't go to governor. If BJP goes to the governor and says that they have the majority and they're ready to form the government, they'll be allowed to form the government, and they can easily take the oath at the Brigade Maidan on 9th of the May, for which the preparations are already underway. There's the outgoing Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee, who's creating a lot of drama by stating that it is a constitutional crisis. She had called and she has spoken to all the India Alliance partners. Akhilesh Yadav was the first one who spoke to her. Akhilesh Yadav also tweeted that she'll be going and visiting to Mamata Banerjee, will be meeting her by extending support to Mamata Banerjee. Mamata Banerjee stated that now she'll be moving to Delhi. Her next challenge to the central government, to the BJP, is to, is to challenge them in Delhi by going to Delhi. Now she has no chair. She stated that, and all the India Alliance leaders also stated that they are with Mamata Banerjee. They support Mamata Banerjee. They all have been stating that the election commission is rigged. Election commission did the rigging. There's a constitutional crisis. She also filed a petition in front of the Supreme Court for the urgent basis hearing by stating that election commission has rigged the election. She has not lost 100 seats. But what's more bizarre, Gesu, is that the candidates who have lost from those 100 seats of the TMC, none of those candidates have come and challenged the election commission or come out in open or said that their election was rigged or there was some sort of issue or they have the problem. Only the Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee have continuously been reiterating about election commission being rigged, use of the central forces. She was thrashed, she was beaten, all lie, all blatant lies, Gesu. Just too much of drama before the oath-taking ceremony of the new Chief Minister of West Bengal. And we already spoke to Manoj Agarwal, CEO, on the outgoing Chief Minister. He clearly stated that there's no constitutional crisis. She can give the resignation, and she should give the resignation. She has to give the resignation. She has no other way than to give the resignation so that new government can be formed in West Bengal.
Definitely, Harsha. Thanks for getting us such a detailed lowdown on everything that's unfolding. And you're right, Mamata Banerjee can go on to do whatever, but the new government will be formed. That is the constitutional process. In fact, viewers, now shifting focus to another breaking development that we're getting in at this hour. Another huge hung assembly in Tamil Nadu. Another huge scuffle that's now broken out. And this time around, this political endurance is about whether or not the TVK can even find space to form its own government. Now, various questions have been put forth in front of TVK Chief Vijay by the Tamil Nadu governor, who is in fact doubtful whether or not 118, the majority mark, will even be passed by the TVK that is looking to form a government for the first time ever in Tamil Nadu. Now remember, TVK on the 4th of May, on the counting day, emerged as the single largest party in Tamil Nadu Assembly, winning about 108 seats in the total 234-member assembly. But even after that, they have not managed to gather 11 more seats that they need to cross the majority mark and form the government in Tamil Nadu. Remember, they formed an alliance with the Congress party. They are not in talks with the AIADMK. The DMK says they will not form an alliance with them. In fact, there is a huge question over the left and the CPIM stand over the matter. The IUML has refused any backing for TVK, and a lot is ongoing. And in fact, just one question: what happens to the governance in Tamil Nadu? And joining me live on the broadcast is my colleague Sarda to get us more details. Sarda, what are we looking at now? You know, the governor has resounded his concerns regarding the majority mark not being breached by the TVK. On the other hand, we know that the DMK is not offering any support. AIADMK has been moved to Puducherry. Everybody who wanted to offer support. Congress is not enough. What is the TVK eyeing, and what is the state of Tamil Nadu eyeing for the next few days? Because we know that the governor's rule can be prompted in case the majority mark is not breached. Sarda.
Well, as of now, the governor has given time for the TVK leader Vijay to bring in the majority of numbers. Well, it's been 2 days. Vijay met the governor yesterday and even today morning. Likely that only 130 numbers are there for TVK plus the Congress alliance. So as we need 5 more numbers to get the majority of 118, the governor has not allowed for Vijay's party to form the governance in the state of Tamil Nadu, and likely a hung assembly in place now. So it is mentioned that the TVK leader has sought the help from the VCK, the Communist and the Marxist Communist Party. So following that is when the decision to be made by in the left parties. Once the decision is made by them, they will know whether they are extending the support or not. The general body meetings of this party are to be tomorrow. So once Vijay gets the 180 number, he can approach the governor once again, because this comes after the governor sees that there is no 118 majority mark. All 3 parties have secured less than the majority number, and in that case we have issues, because it will not be sure whether the Vijay's TVK will be allowed to join start his own governance. And already adding to that is the AIADMK, which wanted to initially render support to Vijay but has now decided not to, and now the AIADMK MLAs are kept in the resort together in Pondicherry to make sure that they do not give enough support to Vijay, to make sure that AIADMK is not very happy with Vijay forming the government in that case now. So
right,
we are right now in the turmoil situation where no particular party can form the government.
We'll continue this conversation. We're running slightly short on time, but we will come back to you. Viewers, that's all that we could wrap for you in this edition of the News Bulletin. But don't go anywhere. On the other side, we'll also get you the details of how the BJP in West Bengal is alleging that TMC is behind the murder of Suvendu Adhikari's close aide and personal assistant Chandranath. In fact, they have drawn direct allegations onto Trinamool Congress's Abhishek Banerjee. Getting you all the details on the political assassination on the other side.
Amity has been ranked among the top universities globally for producing the most employable graduates by the Times Higher Education UK. Yet another testimony to Amity's excellent placement record.
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद ये तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा, क्या स्वाद है? अरे मेरे राजा। सबका राजा आर्थिक मसाला। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो, मतवारा हुआ रे। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
Approximately 3:30 this afternoon, our plainclothes officers and agents that consistently patrol the outer perimeter of the White House complex identified a suspicious individual that appeared to have a firearm. They called in support from our marked uniformed Secret Service police to make contact with that individual. Upon making contact, that individual fled briefly on foot, withdrew a firearm, and fired in the direction of our agents and officers. They returned fire and engaged. That individual was hit. He's since been transported to the hospital. I have no comments on his condition. I can tell you that at least one, we believe only one bystander was hit by the suspect. That individual is a juvenile, did not sustain any life-threatening injuries, but he's also receiving treatment at the hospital. I'll point out that
you have 3 states and 3 controversial outcomes. In Bengal, there is a political assassination. In Tamil Nadu, you have a single largest party, but not having the majority. And in Kerala, you have a clear winner, but the choice for the chief minister threatens to break up the Congress party. 3 of the biggest political headlines following the elections of 2026 coming up on The Verdict at 6 p.m.
चमकी चाट से क्या बना है?
आलू चाट या फ्रूट चाट,
स्वाद बनाए चमकी चाट।
क्या बात है? स्वादिष्ट पकोड़े और बरसान, अरे चमकी चाट है इसकी जान।
असली स्वाद सिर्फ चमकी चाट।
रानी, इस घर में कुछ है जो टूटता नहीं।
ये पिलर कभी नहीं टूटेगा। रुंगटा स्टील टीएमटी से बना।
रुंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं। रुंगटा स्टील टीएमटी बार एकदम सॉलिड।
आर प्योर शाही पनीर मसाला, डिलीशियस, हेल्दी एवरीडे।
जश्न है, जश्न का ये जश्न है।
राष्ट्रीय इलायची, जश्न का जश्न।
आर प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो, मिलाओ और खाओ।
8 मिनट में तैयार।
क्या टेस्ट है, सबका राजा आर प्योर मसाला।
AU सेविंग्स अकाउंट में मिलते हैं अमेजिंग बेनिफिट्स, पेपरलेस बैंकिंग एंड हायर इंटरेस्ट, वो भी हर महीने।
मनी 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 एवरी मंथ।
सोच बदलो और बैंक भी।
Approximately 3:30 this afternoon, our plainclothes officers and agents that consistently patrol the outer perimeter of the White House complex identified a suspicious individual that appeared to have a firearm. They called in support from our marked uniformed Secret Service police to make contact with that individual. Upon making contact, that individual fled briefly on foot, withdrew a firearm, and fired in the direction of our agents and officers. They returned fire.
चमकी चाट से क्या बना है?
सैंडविच लस्सी और छाछ
हर घूंट में चमकी चाट ड्राई फ्रूट और दही बड़े
चमकी चाट से स्वाद बढ़े
असली स्वाद सिर्फ चमकी चाट
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे केसरिया से मन जोगी
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार विमल बोलो जुबान केसरी
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद यही तो है इसकी खास बात वाओ मामा क्या स्वाद है अरे मेरे राजा राजा और मसाला
From Asia's largest news headquarters, setting the agenda for Bharat. You're watching Republic.
A very good afternoon, viewers. You're watching Live and Breaking. I am Rakshita Mishra with you from Bengal to Tamil Nadu. What's really happening after the elections in Bengal? Suvendu Adhikari's aide is killed. The investigation is underway. We'll get you more on that, but also the political thriller in Tamil Nadu. Even after TVK wins the polls by a majority, still continues. The problem is that the numbers are not really, as per the governor, on Vijay's side. We'll get you more on that, but first, the headlines at 4.
Headlines brought to you by Canara Bank. Together we can.
Suvendu Adhikari's close aide and personal assistant shot dead at point-blank range. Suvendu's aide, who handled the Bhabanipur campaign, killed in cold-blooded murder. Suvendu calls it revenge for Mamata's loss. The CCTV footage shows Suvendu's aide was pinned down and shot. More details emerge. Chandranath, Suvendu Adhikari's right hand, was shot dead just 60 meters away from his house. After a failed attempt to prove majority, TVK chief Vijay rushes to Lok Bhavan again to meet the governor. New list likely today. And resort politics begins in Tamil Nadu. Sources tell around 40 AIADMK MLAs moved to resort by the High Command. Republic TV reports from inside the resort. We start with the murder of Suvendu Adhikari's aide viewers. Now, the investigators probing this murder case have traced both the motorcycles that were used by the assailants to kill Chandranath Rath. The motorcycle has been traced to the same individual. The person the person is a resident of Bhabanipur, and investigators have now begun questioning him. Sources say that both the motorcycles were purchased in 2012 and they were registered in this individual's name. So this is the man in whose name this motorcycle is registered has been traced by the investigators, and both the motorcycles were registered in the name of one individual, and he's a resident of Bhabanipur, and he's being questioned now. So this is, viewers, investigation that continues in Chandranath Rath's case, who was the PA, personal assistant of Suvendu Adhikari. Is 48 hours after the thumping historic win of BJP in West Bengal, and Suvendu Adhikari defeating for a second straight time, defeating Mamata Banerjee. This incident happens, a chilling murder case. So now we will show you, viewers, all the visuals that we have accessed for you, viewers. They tell the story about this murder. So story number one, as Republic TV was the first to break this story last night, the number one video you can see is how the SUV is seen passing a toll booth. As you can see, this is Chandranath's SUV. He was quite near his place, his house. He was en route Barasat, and his SUV is seen passing toll booth. We can play the next video. Now, video number two is also, of course, from Madhyamgram in West Bengal, and it shows the bikers chasing Chandranath's SUV. You can see these two assailants, these two men, they are moving the bike parallel to each other simultaneously, and they can be seen chasing Chandranath's SUV in Madhyamgram. Now, video number three shows the moment just before attack. The SUV is visible in this CCTV footage, and this was just moments before he was killed. He was shot at point-blank range. Now we're going to show you video number four. Chandranath's body being pulled out. They're disturbing visuals, viewers. And he was shot dead at point-blank range. He was sitting there with that seat belt. You can see blood also. Multiple injuries, 5 to 6 rounds were fired. And this is when his body was brought to the hospital. He was rushed to the hospital. And he was declared dead on arrival. He was brought dead to hospital. And the other video that we are showing you, viewers, is the aftermath. You can see the SUV in which he was in which he was going to Barasat. It's riddled with bullet holes. You can see that these bullet holes. You can see this the screen, the glasses, the windows of this car riddled with bullet holes. And then you had Suvendu Adhikari, of course, rushing to the hospital in the night. And later on as well today, you see Suvendu Adhikari in the hospital. Last night also he was at the hospital. Today, again, he was at the hospital. Postmortem was also conducted. Suvendu Majumdar last night also rushed to the hospital in the middle of the night. When the story broke, the news sent shockwaves across the country. In fact, Suvendu Majumdar, a union minister and a top Bengal leader of the BJP, at the hospital. And there was outrage outside the hospital. Republic TV was the first channel to bring you this, story, and we were alive throughout the night. We were showing you the outrage outside the hospital. You can see the BJP workers and supporters. They all gathered outside the hospital where his body was brought. And there was outrage, there was sloganeering against the TMC as well. And Chandranath's family also mourning. You can see his mother in mourning, in tears, and was waiting for his son, who has been working really, really hard throughout the campaign. After a month, a little more than a month, he was returning home, and she was waiting to see him, but he got killed just 60 meters away from his residence. All right, viewers. So now, on one hand, you see this political assassination take place, but we have the indie bloc maybe they are trying to just think about Mamata Banerjee. Akhilesh Yadav today has met Mamata Banerjee at her residence and saying that you have not lost, again training guns at the BJP, and meeting Mamata Banerjee saying that you have not lost, as Mamata Banerjee has also not resigned, saying that she has not lost, there is a moral victory. No one destroyed democracy like BJP did, says Akhilesh Yadav as he meets Mamata Banerjee. He's talking about democracy. He also goes on to in fact say that BJP cannot see a woman rising, says the leader of a party where we've seen the record of that party, that is Samajwadi Party, and their record as far as the statements they've made against women. Akhilesh Yadav speaking from Mamata Banerjee's residence in Kalighat. Just take a listen in.
भारतीय जनता पार्टी की आंखों में दीदी खटकती हैं। भारतीय जनता पार्टी की आंखों में दीदी खटकती हैं, इसलिए क्योंकि वो आदि आबादी का प्रतिनिधित्व करती हैं। भारतीय जनता पार्टी सामंती सोच की है। इनके संगी साथी पुरुषवादी लोग हैं। ये कभी भी नारी को और महिला को बढ़ते हुए नहीं देख सकते। यहाँ पर मतदान हुआ जरूर है, लेकिन लोगों ने अपनी इच्छा से कम दबाव में ज्यादा मतदान किया है। इतनी नफरत भरी नकारात्मक राजनीति, जहर घुली हुई।
Let's go across live to the Ministry of External Affairs press briefing on operations.
IWT, as I had said earlier as well, it stands in abeyance in response to Pakistan's sponsorship of cross-border terrorism. Pakistan must credibly and irrevocably abjure its support for cross-border terrorism. मधु, आपका सवाल का मैंने जवाब दिया था अंग्रेजी में, इसको हिंदी में कहूँगा। आज के दिन हम लोग ऑपरेशन सिंदूर का वर्षगांठ मना रहे हैं। 1 साल हो गए ऑपरेशन सिंदूर के। पूरे दुनिया ने देखा किस प्रकार के बर्बरता के साथ पहलगाम में आतंकवादी हमला हुआ था, जिसमें 26 लोगों की जानें गई थी, मासूम लोगों की जानी गई थी। हम लोगों ने पाकिस्तान को उसके बाद ऑपरेशन सिंदूर के ज़रिए मुंहतोड़ जवाब दिया। उनके सीमा पार से आतंकवाद के समर्थन के लिए पूरी दुनिया पाकिस्तान सीमा पार से आतंकवाद को एक इंस्ट्रूमेंट ऑफ स्टेट पॉलिसी की तरह उसका इस्तेमाल करता है। जहाँ तक भारत का सवाल है, ये हमारा इस पे पूरा हक है कि हम लोग अपने राष्ट्र सुरक्षा को और आतंकवाद के खिलाफ अपने को उसके खिलाफ लड़ाई में हम खरे उतरे, और साथ ही साथ हम जो दुनिया भर में एक सहमति बन रही है आतंकवाद से लड़ने के लिए और वैश्विक जोड़ इस लड़ाई में लाने के लिए, उसमें भी हम लोग संलग्न हैं और इसको आगे ले जा रहे हैं। जहाँ तक बात रही जो आपने कहा टॉक्स एंड टेरर, obviously talks and terror cannot go together. Keshav, you had 2 questions, your observations regarding CSIS report. So I will refer to both. The first one on certain imputations. India's position on this particular issue has been clear and consistent, and we have spoken about it on several occasions in the past as well. We categorically reject such baseless imputations. India is a democracy that adheres to international norms and respects sovereignty of other nations. It is not our policy to interfere in issues of other countries. We believe that any concerns of this nature should be addressed through established mechanisms rather than through politicized or public narratives. On your other question, where CSIS report mentions that Canada is being used by certain groups to promote violence against India, We have consistently spoken out about concerns regarding the use of Canadian territory as a safe haven by extremists and separatists. The CC's assessment acknowledges the presence of supporters of the Khalistan separatist movement in Canada and notes that Canada-based Khalistani extremist groups continue to pose national security threat not only to India but also to Canada. It further highlights that such elements misuse democratic freedoms and institutions to promote extremism and raise funds that are diverted towards violent activities. India has repeatedly urged the Canadian authorities to take effective action against anti-India elements operating from its soil. This includes addressing the issue of glorification of violence, threats against diplomats and leaders, vandalism of places of worship, and attempts to promote secessionism through so-called referendums.
All right, viewers, now shifting focus back to West Bengal on Suvendu Adhikari's aide being murdered. Now, Republic TV has accessed the details of the postmortem. Now, postmortem reports suggest that firing was carried out using a semi-automatic firearm. Initial investigation suggests that the weapon was an improvised automatic pistol, Austria-made pistol, a Glock pistol that was used to kill Suvendu Adhikari's aide Chandranath from point-blank range. There was a recce, viewers, what we understand, that was conducted. He was tracked, he was traced, and he was followed, ambushed, and then you can see he was dead. He lost his life. He was dead on arrival. He was brought dead to hospital. You can see his body and bullet-ridden body. Post-mortem reports suggests, in fact, the driver also, viewers, is critical, as what Suvendu Adhikari was telling the media. This is the breaking news we have right now, viewers. Reports suggest that the weapon was an improvised automatic pistol. Now, what all this suggests is that this was a planned murder. It was a planned murder. And viewers, we have Harsha with more details. Harsha, we're getting in more and more details as far as the post-mortem is concerned. Tell us more, please.
Yes, Rakshita, now the postmortem report reveals that there were the 3 bullets which were shot at, Chandranath, and also there were the 3 bullets which were taken out from the body of Chandranath, and there were 10 rounds of firing, multiple rounds of firing at the Scorpio, where we see that the shards of glass in the window glass, how it has broken, and multiple round of firing at him, but there were 3 bullets which clearly targeted at him, and from his body there were 3 bullets which were taken out, and also we found the shells of bullets from the crime spot as well. And the postmortem report also tells that the weapon which was used was a pistol, which was semi-automatic pistol, which is made in Austria. So clearly this was a pistol which actually is the main point of investigation, and the officials, the investigating team, wants to actually recover the pistol as well. The pistol has nowhere found near the crime spot, and also the suspects, the accused, who are involved in this incident, the murderers, the assailants, they are on the run. Teams have been formed to, for searches are underway to find these assailants who have actually committed this political assassination where Suvendu Adhikari's PA was shot dead. It was not something, Rakshita, which would have been planned in a day. This is something, the pre-planning was going on since long. Suvendu Adhikari also stated that the recce was done 2-3 times, and this is a place, this is an area in Madhyamgram, Netaji Sumash Road, where exactly the PA of Suvendu Adhikari, he resides every day. After the election work was done, and this Suvendu Adhikari, when he leaves for his residence every night, Chandranath used to come to his residence, and the timing was known by the assailants. They very well knew the route, they very well knew the itinerary, they very well knew the direction and the plan of Chandranath, and therefore they chose this particular narrow lane of Madhyamgram to actually murder him, to actually assassinate him. And that we have known by after coming to the prime spot, after looking at it, that how the entire area has been cordoned off. When Scorpio was coming from one side, the vehicle of the assailants and the bike of the came from the other side. They blocked the route of Scorpio for the Chandranath to go forward, and they started open firing at him. Back to you.
Just stay on with us. We have another CCTV footage, viewers. We have another footage that in fact shows the car, Chandranath's Scorpio, the SUV, seen in CCTV footage right before the attack. So we've accessed multiple footages, viewers, that show the entire the entire sequence of events as far as this killing is concerned. So you can see that SUV that passes by. This is the white Scorpio in which Chandranath was sitting in the passenger seat, and he was killed at point blank range. This was just before, this moments before he was shot dead. You can see this video. My colleague Harsha continues to be with us. Harsha, when we see this entire sequence, when we piece all these footages together, we understand that how he was tracked, he was traced, he was followed and ambushed. The way he was killed at point blank range. Suvendu Adhikari also says that there was a recce done to, carry out this murder. Now, this somewhere points to the fact that this was completely planned murder just 48 hours after the elections, the day of results. Harsha.
Yes, Rakshita, we have the 3 CCTV footages. Republic has accessed 3 CCTV footage. We have the footage of the Scorpio going to the residence. We have the footage of the Scorpio when it reached the crime spot where exactly the crime took place. The noises, the loud noise of the weapon, of the targeting of the bullet shots could clearly be heard in that CCTV footage. And the third video which Republic has accessed of the Scorpio, where there's a commotion in this around the area at the crime spot, where the locals have gathered, taking out, rescuing Chandranath from his Scorpio, and the driver helping him. And the person who is behind Chandranath, he was also critically injured. He also got bullet shots, and he was also immediately rushed to the nearby hospital, EM Bypass, the private hospital which is at EM Bypass. The surgery was done of the third person in the Scorpio, and it was the driver who rushed Chandranath to the nearby hospital, where he was declared broad dead. And the 2 eyewitnesses who actually were the first ones to call police, to call ambulance, and the first one to rescue Chandranath, they clearly stated that at the time of the incident, the heartbeat, the heartbeat was moving of Chandranath. There was a pulse, but immediately after taking him to hospital, he succumbed to death. He couldn't sustain, and also he was declared broad dead by the hospital officials, and the reason was so much loss of blood. There was so much loss of blood that there was the organ failure which led to the death of the Chandranath. So these are the detailed information from the hospital and what actually happened at the crime spot, where we have the video of the CCTV footage. Chandranath could be seen in absolute unconscious condition, fallen dead immediately after the rounds and rounds of the bullet shots at him. This is the modus operandi, Rakshita, which we have seen in the past in West Bengal, and therefore Suvendu Adhikari is again and again stating that the TMC party is a gunda party. This is a murderers, the party of the murderers. Right. They have committed such sins, such crime in the past as well. And now, however, this entire area has been cordoned off. All the shops are closed. None of them are open. The investigation is underway. 3 people have been detained. Questioning is being done. The top priority of West Bengal Police and SIT is to catch the murderers, is to catch the assailants right now who are on the run. Back to you.
Right, many thanks, Harsha, for joining us with details. We'll keep coming back to you for more updates. Viewers, meanwhile, shifting focus now to Tamil Nadu, where suspense still grows on what really happens to TVK, the government, the new government that the fans of Vijay maybe are actually, waiting for. Now, in the latest, we have the TVK seeking support of other parties like the left parties, the VCK and the RUML. This is by party leader Nirmal Kumar. He has given this statement in Chennai that after Congress, TVK is now seeking support of the left parties and the VCK as well. So that's the update we have right now. The governor is still waiting for the majority, for a stable majority, convincing claim from the TVK. So the TVK chief, Vijay, today, the chief ministerial candidate who was supposed to take the oath today, is still left waiting because the governor says that he does not have a majority. He's not really convinced with the numbers, and he says that put everything on paper. There needs to be a stable government, there needs to be a stable majority. And now there are hectic parleys going on. After the Congress, you have the TVK seeking support of the left parties and the VCK as well. And also the Muslim League, the RUML, also. So that's the latest update we have right now. We'll try and get more updates on to what's happening. What is next for Vijay? We have Sharda joining us live on the broadcast. Sharda, well, clearly we see that there's a lot of struggle going on now for the party to be, for the government to be formed. Now we understand that Vijay is also seeking support from IUML, from the VCK and from the other left parties.
Well, Vijay is seeking support from VCK Communist and the Marxist Communists to give them enough support. The number of seats that they have won is 2 each, and with that he'll get 6 more seats, and that there's a possibility of him getting the mere majority of 118 seats to form the government. Whereas the governor, well, he came up with 113 seats. The governor was saying that he needs to do a floor test and then prove his majority and seek time of 2 weeks. However, Vijay went on with the coalition government, and that in that situation is when the governor is asked to give him the exact majority, to prove the majority, to make sure that there is no issue in the governance that he'll be forming, and that it will be a stable government for the next 5 years is what the governor wants to know. Meanwhile, the support from the VCK Communists and the Marxists are set to come in the next 2 days, because the party is having the general body meetings tomorrow, and the final decision would be made by the parties in the next 2 days whether they would be going along with the Vijay's TVK or whether they're going to be continuing with the DMK alliance, which will leave the state in a hung assembly situation, and following which the governor will have to take a decision whether it's going to be a re-election in the state of Tamil Nadu or not. Meanwhile, as we speak, the AIADMK leader, General Secretary Palanisammy, is on his way to Puducherry to meet his MLAs who are now stationed in a resort. So the final resort for the Vijay is to go with the left parties to get the mere 118 seats majority, and following that is when he can form the government.
Right, just stay on with us, Harsha. Beg your pardon, Sharda. We have another breaking update that is coming in right now. The Congress is going to hold a protest tomorrow at 11 a.m. against the governor of Tamil Nadu. Now, the Congress is getting desperate. It has joined TVK, but with the governor not approving Vijay to take oath and form the government, the Congress goes on to blame the governor of playing favoritism instead of following the constitution and asking him to call on the majority number gained party and allow them to do a floor test. Sharda, well, I want to understand from you what's really happening, because there are voices that are being raised. Congress, of course, also one of them that has joined hands with the TVK after, breaking away from the DMK after decades, that this is something that is not really part of constitution, that it's not necessary to actually show that on paper, and a floor test will do the job later on. And there is some kind of favoritism that Congress goes on to allege.
Well, yesterday, after meeting the governor, the Congress leaders started to point out that a governor does not have the rights to ask the TVK leader Vijay to prove the majority number of seats. If it is the governor's job to just give the position of the government, the chief minister position, to the person who has won the maximum number of seats in the party, being Vijay, which with 108 seats, which is more than what the DIMK and the AIADMK has got. So this is what the Congress pointed out, telling that a floor test is all that is necessary, and that they have the time for that, and the governor should not stress on giving the numbers of majority even before he assumes the power of the chief minister. This is what the Congress has been pointing out since yesterday. Even today, after Vijay met the governor, as there is no clear clarity on whether the governor would approve Vijay of the chief to approve him to take oath as a chief minister, and would agree with the TVK taking over the government in the state of Tamil Nadu. Congress has now condemned governor's move, calling it favoritism towards parties that he likes, and is not approving for the Congress and the TVK allies. Meanwhile, the Communist Party has also given a voice, saying that it is the right of the person who has secured more number of votes, the party leader, to form the government, and the governor should allow that to happen. So the Congress is now announcing a protest tomorrow at 11 a.m. against the governor near Lok Bhavan, saying that they should allow TVK chief Vijay to take over as the chief minister of Tamil Nadu, and give him the time to do the floor test and then get the majority of numbers that is required to form the government.
All right, many thanks, Shadav, for joining us. Videos coming in on that story. We continue to bring you more details, viewers, in that Tamil Nadu thriller. What's really going to happen next? We get you all on that and much more on the other side of this very, very short break. Also, we bring you the story as far as the Bengal chilling murder case is concerned, the political assassination, the killing of Suvendu Adhikari's aide. BJP saying that it's TMC who's behind this murder.
Tonight on This Is Exclusive, we get you the most definitive account of India's finest military operation, Operation Sindoor. minute by minute details of what really transpired on the intervening night of 6th and 7th of May. And not just that, role of Indian Navy has finally been revealed.
Our pure Shahi Paneer Masala. Delicious, healthy, every day.
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार विमल बोलो जुबान केसरी
आर प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ
8 मिनट में तैयार।
क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा आर प्योर मसाला।
Approximately 3:30 this afternoon, our plainclothes officers and agents that consistently patrol the outer perimeter of the White House complex identified a suspicious individual that appeared to have a firearm. They called in support from our marked uniformed Secret Service police to make contact with that individual. Upon making contact, that individual fled briefly on foot, withdrew a firearm, and fired in the direction of our agents and officers. They returned fire and engaged. That individual was hit. He's since been transported to the hospital. I have no comments on his condition. I can tell you that at least one, we believe only one bystander was hit by the suspect. That individual.
Headlines brought to you by Canara Bank. Together we can.
Suvendu Adhikari's close aide and personal assistant Chandranath shot dead at point-blank range. Suvendu's aide, who handled the Bhabanipur campaign, killed in cold-blooded murder. The CCTV footage shows Suvendu's aide was pinned down and shot. More details emerge in the killing of Adhikari's right hand. Chandranath was shot dead 60 meters away from his house. After a failed attempt to prove majority, TVK chief Vijay rushes to Lok Bhavan again to meet the governor. Parley is underway to form the new government in Tamil Nadu. Resort politics begins in Tamil Nadu. Sources
ये उसके लिए खड़ा होना पड़ेगा। ईमानदारी से इलेक्शन जब हुआ, इलेक्शन कमीशन ने जब इलेक्शन कराया तो वो जीती। और इस बार जो मल्टी लेयर माफिया गिरी हुई है इलेक्शन में, कोई कभी सोच नहीं सकता था कि इस तरह की बेईमानी भारतीय जनता पार्टी, इलेक्शन कमीशन, उनके संगी साथी, खुफिया लोग, अंडरग्राउंड लोग मिलकर के इस तरह का चुनाव करेंगे। अभी तक तो हम ये सुनते थे कि जो आज बंगाल करता है वो देश कल करता है, लेकिन बीजेपी ने जो उत्तर प्रदेश में किया बेईमानी, वो एक ट्रायल था उनका, और उससे सीख करके पूरा का पूरा चुनाव उन्होंने लूट लिया। सेंट्रल फोर्स हो, इलेक्शन कमीशन, ट्रांसफर पोस्टिंग, यूपी का चुनाव भी बड़े करीब से देखा है मैंने। न जाने कितने अधिकारियों की हम शिकायत करते थे, न कभी डीजीपी हटा, न कभी चीफ सेक्रेटरी हटे, न कोई डिस्ट्रिक्ट का अधिकारी हटाया उन्होंने। लेकिन जब बंगाल का चुनाव हुआ, पूरा का पूरा स्ट्रक्चरली उन्होंने अपना बनाया और उनको निर्देश दिए गए कि आपको चुनाव हराना है। आप में से बहुत सारे साथी होंगे, अब तो फोर्स के कई लोगों को 15 दिन की छुट्टी दी है, लीव। इतनी छुट्टी कभी सेंट्रल फोर्स को कभी नहीं मिली। अभी सुना है कि 15 दिन की छुट्टी दी गई है। और जिस तरह का व्यवहार यहाँ हो रहा है पॉलिटिकल वर्कर के साथ, पार्टी ऑफिस के साथ, हम लोग भी सरकार में आए और सरकार से गए, कभी कभी किसी वर्कर, पॉलिटिकल वर्कर के साथ इस तरह का व्यवहार नहीं हुआ। चाहे हमारे साथी अभिषेक हों, आदरणीय दीदी हों, उनको सिक्योरिटी की थ्रेट हो, जिन्होंने इतनी सेवा की हो लोगों की, आखिरकार किसकी ताकत की वजह से ही कर रहे हैं। और मैं तो वो तस्वीरें दिखाना चाहता हूं जो कभी यूपी में तस्वीरें बनी थी इलेक्शन में। ये शायद तस्वीर आपने सबने देखी होगी, ये तस्वीर तो देखी होगी आपने। इससे ज्यादा भयानक काम यहां हुआ है। अगर बुलेट्स के डरा करके वोट डाला जाएगा तो कौन जीतेगा? आप बुलेट से डरा रहे हैं वोट के लिए, और इलेक्शन कमीशन निष्पक्ष नहीं है, बीजेपी के सहारे पे काम कर रहा है। जब बाई इलेक्शन उत्तर प्रदेश का हुआ था, मैं लोकसभा में अपने सभी मेंबर्स को लेकर के, कफन लेकर के गए थे हमारे सांसद, और इसलिए लेके गए थे कि स्पीकर को दे दें जिससे कि इलेक्शन कमीशन तक ये चला जाए, क्योंकि हम लोगों ने कहा कि इलेक्शन कमीशन ही मर गया है। और ये बात हम यूं ही नहीं कहते थे, ये तो पहली तस्वीर है। दूसरी तस्वीर भी किसी से छिपी नहीं होगी, ये दूसरी तस्वीर भी नहीं छिपी होगी किसी से। और फिर जो वोट डालने का तरीका है, मैं केवल एक कॉन्स्टिट्यूंसी का उदाहरण दे रहा हूं कि इस तरीके से फोर्स से वोट डलवाया। मैं 2012, 2017, 2022 समाजवादी पार्टी 37%, 2017 42%, 2022 46%। कभी समाजवादी पार्टी चुनाव नहीं हारी। और बीजेपी 29%, 37%, 30%। और जब सेंट्रल फोर्स और फोर्स के साथ जब उन्होंने चुनाव डलवाया, अंदर किसी भी एजेंट को नहीं रुकने दिया। बंगाल में भी यही किया कि जो पॉलिटिकल पार्टी के पोलिंग स्टेशन के अंदर जो एजेंट्स होते हैं, उनको धमकाया, डराया और न जाने क्या क्या तरीका अपनाया होगा। यहां देखिए आप, जब डराया, धमकाया और पुलिस का साथ लिया तो कितना 77% पहुंच गया वोट बीजेपी का। 77%। ये वो डेटा मैं दिखा रहा हूं जो इलेक्शन कमीशन के पास भी अवेलेबल होगा। ये तो पूरे इलेक्शन की प्रक्रिया ही बदल दी इन्होंने। और अब तो ऐसा है, बीजेपी की सरकार में इलेक्शन कमीशन से मिलकर के पहले आपको रिजल्ट मिल जाएगा, सर्टिफिकेट मिल जाएगा, उसके बाद काउंटिंग होगी, उसके बाद वोट पड़ेंगे, उसके बाद वोटर लिस्ट ठीक की जाएगी। पूरा चुनाव ही अलग कर दिया ना, पूरी चुनाव की प्रक्रिया ही बदल दी इन्होंने। और आदरणीय दीदी इनकी आंखों में खटकती हैं। आदरणीय दीदी संघर्ष करने वाली हैं, वो निराश होने वाली नहीं है। बीजेपी की आंखों में इसलिए खटकती हैं क्योंकि वो आदि आबादी का प्रतिनिधित्व करती हैं। और भारतीय जनता पार्टी के लोग जो पुरुषवादी हैं, सामंतवादी हैं, कभी नारी को बढ़ते हुए नहीं देख सकते। इन्होंने नारी को मुख्यमंत्री नहीं बनने दिया। राजस्थान में जो पहले मुख्यमंत्री की दावेदार थी, मुख्यमंत्री रही, और देश में केवल एक मुख्यमंत्री आधी अधूरी बनाई। जिनके पास कोई पावर नहीं है। इसलिए हम इस लड़ाई में आदरणीय दीदी के साथ हैं, क्योंकि लोकतंत्र को बचाना है, संविधान को बचाना है। अगर हमारे वोट के अधिकार को ही छीन लेंगे तो फिर क्या लोकतंत्र बचा? इतनी डेमोक्रेसी को किसी ने डिस्ट्रॉय नहीं किया हुआ जितना भारतीय जनता पार्टी ने किया है। और भारतीय जनता पार्टी पावर के लिए, अपनी ताकत के लिए किसी भी सीमा तक जा सकती है, कोई भी कानून नियम तोड़ सकते हैं। और उत्तर प्रदेश में हम लोगों ने बड़े करीब से देखा, वहां पर ये जो करते थे वो यहां पर किया है।
अखिलेश जी, आप कह रहे हैं कि इलेक्शन कमीशन बीजेपी के साथ मिलजुल के ये सब किया, लेकिन आप लोग रोकेंगे कैसे सर? हर जगह से आप लोग वोट चोरी का शिकायत तो कर रहे हैं, लेकिन रोकेंगे कैसे?
मुझे उम्मीद है कि देश की जनता इसके बाद जाग जाएगी। जो बंगाल में हुआ है, जो बंगाल को सेंट्रल फोर्स से, क्या आप कल्पना कर सकते हैं कि 3 लाख सेंट्रल फोर्स भेजी गई और चिन्हित करके अधिकारियों को पोस्ट किया गया? सुनने में तो यह भी आया कि अधिकारियों को लालच दिया गया है कि चुनाव जिता दो तो हम आपको अच्छा पद देंगे। और आप यकीन करना, देख लेना, आप जो यहां से चुनाव करा करके जा रहे हैं अधिकारी बड़े, कुछ न कुछ लाभ का पद पाएंगे। हम लोगों को उम्मीद है कि हम लोगों को जनता के बीच में जाकर के जगाना पड़ेगा उनको।
सर, बीजेपी का कहना है ममता बनर्जी के बाद आप है टारगेट। उत्तर प्रदेश में नेक्स्ट ईयर इलेक्शन है, उनका कहना है कि आप है टारगेट।
हमसे 2 गलतियां हुई, एक बीजेपी को हरा दिया और दूसरा अयोध्या हरा दिया, तो हम तो टारगेट में होंगे ही। ये कोई नई बात नहीं है। और हम तो बहुत टारगेट में, एक के टारगेट में नहीं है।
अखिलेश जी, इसके साथ में यहाँ पर जो है बीजेपी की तरफ से कहा जा रहा है, चुनाव आयोग की तरफ से कहा जा रहा है कि ये यहाँ निष्पक्ष तरीके से चुनाव हुआ, हिंसा मुक्त चुनाव हुआ, इस वजह से इस तरह के नतीजे हैं।
भारतीय जनता पार्टी सोम पपड़ी की तरह झूठ की लेयर है। सोम पपड़ी खाई कभी? एक लेयर के ऊपर दूसरी लेयर झूठ की चढ़ा देते हैं लोग। और आपको तो मैं ये कहता हूं ना, सब वीडियोस आर्काइव में पड़े हुए हैं। रामपुर का इलेक्शन देख लो, किसी वोटर को नहीं निकलने दिया। और ये जो डेटा मैं आपको दिखा रहा हूं, ये रामपुर की कॉन्स्टिट्यूंसी का दिखा रहा हूं मैं, कुंदर की कॉन्स्टिट्यूंसी का दिखा रहा हूं मैं। ये तो डेटा आप देख सकते हो। इलेक्शन कमीशन अंधा है क्या? और ये महिलाओं की तस्वीर क्या आप भूल गए कि आपके अपने चैनल पे भी चली थी तस्वीरें? ये तस्वीरें आप भूल गए क्या? ये तो आपके चैनल पे भी तस्वीरें चली थी, वीडियो चले थे। ये इन महिलाओं ने, जिन्होंने कोई परवाह नहीं की, मैंने इन महिलाओं को 2-2 लाख रुपए से सम्मान किया था कि उन्होंने कम से कम अपने वोट के अधिकार के लिए लड़ी। उन्हें परवाह नहीं थी गोली की, उन्हें रिवॉल्वर की। आप पता करिए ये क्या हालत थी उस समय। केवल ये तस्वीर नहीं, ये तस्वीर भी आप भूले नहीं होंगे। हालांकि सीसीटीवी से बहुत घबराते हैं बीजेपी के लोग, सीसीटीवी से, कैमरे से बहुत घबराते हैं। अगर यही इलेक्शन कमीशन निष्पक्ष है तो कुदरकी में जो वोट डाला है उसकी सीसीटीवी वीडियो जनता को दिखा दो। अगर जनता को नहीं दिखाना चाहते हैं तो प्रेस पे तो भरोसा करते होंगे। अगर सब प्रेस को नहीं दिखा सकते हैं तो अपने खास चैनलों को बुला करके और हमें भी बुला लेना। और फिर जब सुप्रीम कोर्ट की प्रोसीडिंग्स लाइव हो सकती हैं तो बंगाल के वोटिंग की, काउंटिंग की सीसीटीवी क्यों नहीं दिखाई जा सकती, क्यों नहीं लाइव हो सकती है? कम से कम जनता में तो संदेश जाए। जो लोकतंत्र है वो मजबूत होगा। अगर सीसीटीवी की जो फुटेज है वो अगर बीजेपी दिखवा देगी इलेक्शन कमीशन से तो शायद उससे लोकतंत्र और मजबूत होगा। ये तो अकेले इलेक्शन कमीशन से लड़ रहे थे। हमें तो यूपी में जो हमारा साथी कह रहा था टारगेट, उनके परिवार के लोग भी कई जगह बैठे हुए हैं, उनके बहुत सारे साथी सहयोगी भी बैठे हुए हैं। हमें सबसे लड़ना है, लेकिन हमें भरोसा है कि जनता ने जो बंगाल में देखा है, जिस तरीके का व्यवहार सेंट्रल फोर्स का, इलेक्शन कमीशन का, संघी साथियों का, इनके अंडरग्राउंड लोगों का, बीजेपी के लोगों का, उत्तर प्रदेश की जनता जागरूक होकर इनका जवाब देगी।
बंगाल इलेक्शन के बाद सर बंगाल इलेक्शन के बाद आपको लगता है कि इंडिया अलायंस और मजबूत है दिल्ली की तरफ कुछ करनी चाहिए कॉमन प्रोग्राम
मैं इस समय यही कह सकता हूं कि सभी पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज के नेता हम लोग बैठ करके बात करेंगे।
अब सर आपको लगता है कि इंडिया अलायंस के सारे जो पार्टीज है वो स्ट्रॉन्गर है अभी यूनाइटेड है बंगाल इलेक्शन के बाद?
कोशिश यही होगी कि सब लोग और साथ मिलकर के काम करें, क्योंकि लोकतंत्र बचाना है, डेमोक्रेसी को बचाना है। ये डेमोक्रेसी को डिस्ट्रॉय करना चाहते हैं, हमारे वोट के अधिकार को ही छीनना चाहते हैं। हालांकि बात यहां की नहीं है, लेकिन यूपी की मैं कह सकता हूं, वो वोट छीन करके आम लोगों के और खासकर पीडीएस समाज के लोगों के अधिकार छीनना चाहते हैं। जब वोट छीनेगा तो सोचिए क्या अधिकार छीनेगा। वो डेटा आपको अवेलेबल है कि किस तरीके से वोट के अधिकार को छीनने से कितनी सीटें हार गए। वो डेटा छिपा नहीं है। और लॉजिकल डिस्क्रिपेंसी के लिए क्या सॉफ्टवेयर इस्तेमाल किया होगा, आखिरकार किसका सॉफ्टवेयर था वो? लॉजिकल डिस्क्रिपेंसी जो हुई है वो किसकी वजह से हुई है? कौन डेटा देख रहा था, कौन सा सॉफ्टवेयर था वो?
सर आप लोग पार्लियामेंट में इसको उठाएंगे सर?
पार्लियामेंट में मैं कफन लेके गया था इलेक्शन कमीशन के लिए।
सर बंगाल इलेक्शन
बिल्कुल उठाएंगे।
बंगाल का ये चुनाव इस बार हिंसा बहुत कम हुई, लोग बहुत कम यहाँ पे जाने गए, लेकिन कल रात में जो देखा गया शुभेंदु अधिकारी के पीए की हत्या की गई, उसे क्या कैसे?
इसमें तो होम मिनिस्टर जिम्मेदार हैं कि उनके पीए की हत्या कैसे हो गई। ये सवाल मुझसे मत पूछिए, आप ट्विटर हैंडल होगा आपका, आप टैग करिए होम मिनिस्टर साहब को, पूछिए कि हत्या कैसे हो गई।
सर ये जो एकजुट होकर आप लड़ने की बात कर रहे हैं सर, इसमें कांग्रेस की भी भूमिका होगी। सर हम लोग यूपी इलेक्शन से भी पहले देखे हैं, बंगाल इलेक्शन से पहले हम लोग ने देखा कि शायद ऑपोजिशन एक साथ नहीं हो पाए, कांग्रेस नहीं आ पाया सर। कांग्रेस को कोई एडवाइस देंगे सर?
मैं किसी को एडवाइस देने के लिए नहीं आया हूँ। मैं लोकतंत्र और जिस तरीके से आदरणीय दीदी को
Viewers, that was the SP chief, now in fact Akhilesh Yadav, who went on to meet Mamata Banerjee, and in fact he's also again rigged up the issue of the election commission and the BJP being hand in glove over elections. Now in fact we're getting in some more breaking developments. Suvendu Adhikari's personal assistant Chandranath's murder case. The police has now recovered the bike that was reportedly used by the assailants. Now remember, the bike has now been brought to Madhyamgram police station in North 24 Parganas in West Bengal. Remember, we showed you the visuals. The Scorpio, the white SUV in which Chandranath was traveling, was stopped by a bike, and this is the same bike that has now been recovered by the police. It's been brought to the Madhyamgram police station. Remember, assailants atop this bike stopped. They parked the bike right in front of Chandranath's SUV and shot him with multiple bullet rounds, at least 3 bullet injuries that then Chandranath succumbed to. 2 in his chest, 1 in his abdomen, profuse bleeding, after which when he was taken to the hospital, he was declared by the doctors to be brought dead. This is the same bike that was used by the assailants that has now been recovered by the police and has been brought to the Madhyamgram police station in North 24 Parganas in West Bengal. So the police is inching closer to reach the perpetrators of this political assassination that unfolded in the streets of West Bengal in Madhyamgram just late last night. Remember, these are the visuals, the CCTV footage that you can see on your right hand side of the screen, where the car will now come zooming in and then gets interrupted by a bike. This is the same bike that the assailants used. In fact, we're also being joined by my colleague Harsha to get us more updates into the matter. Harsha, a big sort of case that's unfolding, and the police has now made some advancements. They have recovered the bike that was used by the assailants, and this has now been brought to the Madhyamgram police station. What more details do you have for us, Harsha?
Yes, Gesu, so there's a bike which is used by assailants, as you were yourself rightly, speaking about it. This is a bike now which is at the Madhyamgram police station. This bike was the one which was used by assailants yesterday night, when actually they, came from the front, and the assailants were seated on this particular bike when the gunshots were fired at Chandranath. And yes, we can clearly say, as you yourself mentioned, that inch by inch, investigative agencies are reaching closer to catch the the murderers to catch the assailants who are on the run. One thing is for sure, Kesu, they will not be on run for long. All the borders are sealed. The security deployments are heavy. Each and everywhere it has been deployed. All the vantages are full packed. The vehicles, the cars, the troublemongers, each and every one is being investigated. The suspicious, whoever is suspicious, is being interrogated and are being questioned by the police officials. And in fact, this particular Madhyamgram area, also each and every resident of the houses, the locals, were questioned by the police officials, by the SIT team who reached the spot here. So we can clearly see that this particular case is the topmost priority of the West Bengal police, because this is not something which could be just ignored or, which could be taken lightly. It is Suvendu Adhikari's PA, the name which has defeated Mamata Banerjee, the name which is the top running name for the CM contender. Chandranath was his PA since long. He already, in past, he had affiliations and that family is politically connected. And one can't ignore the escalation of the postponed violence in the state of West Bengal, and it's a high time that a response should be given and the assailants should be caught as soon as possible. And that's the reason why CID, West Bengal Police, SIT, intelligence, all are working together, working together since yesterday night. Forensics have been taken twice, the videography has been done, evidence has been collected from spot, and now the drivers will also be questioned. They will be speaking, the CID will be speaking to driver as well, regarding if he has recognized the bikers. One thing is for sure that the assailants on bike were wearing helmet. So how much the local or the driver has seen the assailant, that is the top question. We'll get to know more about it by evening, because right now the investigation and the questioning both are underway with the people who have been detained by the police officials.
Right, Harsha, thanks for getting us a lowdown of the situation. Now we were shifting focus to what's happening in Tamil Nadu. The AIADMK General Secretary Edappadi Palaniswamy has now left from his residence to go to the Puducherry resort, where other MLAs, over 15 MLAs of the AIADMK, have been stationed. Now remember, Tamil Nadu's resort politics is back in focus, and this comes after the TVK is failing to gain the majority number, the magic number of 118 to form the government in Tamil Nadu. In fact, the governor has written to the TVK chief Vijay, who has now emerged as a kingmaker. His party, the TVK, emerged as the single largest party, but now the AIADMK has not only pulled back support, but the faction that was reportedly in support of forming a government with the TVK has been sent to a resort far away in Puducherry. Joining me on the broadcast is my colleague Aishwarya to get us more details into the matter. Aishwarya, speak to us about this entire thing that's unfolding. Now EPS is also headed to the resort in Puducherry, and just today morning 15 other AIADMK MLAs also made it to the same resort. In fact, many more are slated to reach the resort by evening today. Aishwarya, what details do you have for us?
Exactly. As you pointed out, EPS is also on its way to this particular resort, and as you can see, I'm inside this resort, and I can show you around where. This particular resort has almost 25 to 25 MLAs, and more MLAs are coming in, including the top leaders of the AIADMK are also set to come in, so that this particular rebel faction inside should not be given any more chance to rebel this and to even beat the AIADMK factor and down to the TVK, because there are several MLAs who are sympathizers of TVK is what the AIADMK is worried about, and they are saying that so that these MLAs do not vote or do not go against the AIADMK factor, they have changed their particular chair location to Pondicherry, and almost all the MLAs are located here, and the senior command are also said to come here and hold a meeting, because EPS is on the way. There are preparations also going on inside the resort to felicitate this particular meeting that is going to happen inside the resort. And the rebel factor should not go against the entire AIADMK, because if the AIADMK splits in this particular elections, then the AIADMK might not be able to come back together, because AIADMK initially, after the general Jayalalitha's demise had also split into various factors, and after which it was very difficult for AIADMK to come back, and that is what gave edge to the DMK party earlier in the 2021 Tamil Nadu elections. But now with the same should not happen is what EPS is trying to make sure, and that is the reason this particular entire resort has been booked for the AIADMK MLAs, and each on in time being one and MLAs are coming inside this particular resort and taking their possession. They are taking accommodation here. There is also EPS on its way, and there's also meeting preparations that are underway in this particular resort, where all the MLAs will be told not to go against the AIADMK and will come to outside as a majority.
Yeah. Thanks for getting us a lowdown from the resort, Ishwarya. In fact, we're also getting in some more breaking developments now. Senior leaders of the AIADMK are also set to arrive in the same resort in Puducherry, where my colleague Ishwarya was also earlier reporting from. Now, MR Vijay Bhaskar has been set to reach the resort. He's also accompanied by the former transport minister and one of the senior leaders in the AIADMK. So more and more senior leadership, in fact, also including the party's General Secretary, Edappadi Palaniswamy, and also other MLAs, over 25 that have already reached the resort in Puducherry. Tamil Nadu's resort politics now in focus. AIADMK is now taking all its MLAs and moving them to Puducherry.
You have 3 states and 3 controversial outcomes. In Bengal, there is a political assassination. In Tamil Nadu, you have a single largest party, but not having the majority. And in Kerala, you have a clear winner, but the choice for the chief minister threatens to break up the Congress party. 3 of the biggest political headlines following the elections of 2026 coming up on The Verdict at 6 p.m.
AU करंट अकाउंट के साथ मिलता है फ्री यूपीआई क्यूआर ओवरड्राफ्ट फैसिलिटी और एक ही ऐप से बैंक के सारे काम। AU
सोच बदलो और बैंक भी। प्यास बुझाए, ठंडक लाए, सबको भाए जीरा से। MTH का जलजीरा जीरा से।
जीरा से असली रिफ्रेशिंग, असली स्वाद, असली मजा।
MTH।
Character, the taste of success.
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद यही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा क्या स्वाद है? अरे मेरे राजा। सबका राजा और मसाला।
ছেলেরা দেখবে সীমান্তের হিন্দুকে না বুকে আগলে রাখবো 15 বছর কেটেছি অনেক এবার তোরা ভোটের দিনে ছাপ্পা রেকিং চলবে না তো সরকার চাই বিজেপি সরকার সরকার চাই বিজেপি সরকার
प्योर शाही पनीर मसाला, डिलीशियस, हेल्दी, एवरीडे।
रानी इस घर में कुछ है जो टूटता नहीं।
ये पिलर कभी नहीं टूटेगा। रुंगटा स्टील TMT से बना।
रुंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं। रुंगटा स्टील TMT बार एकदम सॉलिड।
चमकी चाट से क्या बना है?
सैंडविच लस्सी और छाछ
हर घूंट में चमकी चाट।
अब बताओ स्वाद आया?
असली स्वाद सिर्फ चंकी चाट।
Approximately 3:30 this afternoon, our plainclothes officers and agents that consistently patrol the outer perimeter.
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल बोलो जुबान केसरी।
आर प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ
8 मिनट में तैयार।
क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा आर प्योर मसाला।
চুরিও এই ছেলেরা রুখবে সীমান্তের হিন্দুকে মা বুকে আগলে রাখবো 15 বছর কেটেছি অনেক এবার তোরা ভোটের দিনে ছাপ্পা রেকিং চলবে না তো সরকার চাই বিজেপি সরকার সরকার চাই বিজেপি সরকার
Adhikari's close aide and personal assistant shot dead at point-blank range. Suvendu's aide, who handled the Bhabanipur campaign, killed in cold-blooded murder. CCTV footage shows Suvendu's aide was pinned down and shot. More details emerge in the killing of Suvendu Adhikari's right hand. Chandranath was shot dead 60 meters away from his residence. After a failed attempt to prove majority, TVK Chief Vijay rushes to Lok Bhavan to meet Governor. New list to come out likely today. Resort politics begins in Tamil Nadu. Sources say around 40 AIADMK MLAs have been moved to a resort by the High Command. Viewers, now quickly cutting across to a fresh breaking development that we're getting in from West Bengal. Now, Republic has accessed the details of the postmortem report, which says that the firing that was carried on was done using a semi-automatic firearm. Now, as per initial reports, the weapon was improvised. It was an automatic pistol, and this was also possibly manufactured in Austria. That is the detail, the latest details that we're gauging in on the weapon that was used, the pistol that was used to shoot down and kill in a cold-blooded murder Suvendu Adhikari's personal assistant Chandranath in West Bengal. In Madhyamgram, in fact, now Republic has accessed the details of the postmortem report, which reveals that the firing was carried out using semi-automatic firearm, and as per initial reports, this weapon was improvised to be an automatic pistol, and its origins have been found to be in Austria. So an Austria-made weapon that was used to kill Suvendu Adhikari's aide in a cold-blooded political assassination that unfolded in West Bengal in Madhyamgram just late last night. Remember, Republic was live. We were getting you all the visuals right from the protests that had broken out of the hospital, outside the hospital where the aide was rushed to. In fact, take a look at these three videos. The first one, you can see the white SUV zooming in on the road. In the second one, you see the SUV being blocked by a two-wheeler that the assailants were riding and where they fired shots from towards Chandranath. And the third one, you see Chandranath inside the vehicle completely injured. Listen in to the audio of these three visuals.
একটু দেখি কাজটা ইয়ে করে ফেলো না মুখটা দেখো একটু বেঁচে আছে কি বেঁচে থাকলে হসপিটালে নিয়ে চলো হসপিটালে যাও বেঁচে থাকলে হসপিটালে নিয়ে চলো মুখটা একবার দেখো না ভিডিও করো মুখটা একবার দেখি দাও না মুখটা কি আছে এই ফোনটা দাদা এখানে রাখো তুমি কোথা থেকে এসেছো তুমি টান দাও আরে আমরা আছি তো অসুবিধা নেই আরে মুখটা দেখতে হবে তো তারা তিনজন গুলি করে চলে গেছে সেটা বলতে পারবো না আপনি হসপিটালে যান আগে নিয়ে যান হসপিটালে নিয়ে যান দাদা আপনার এখানে বেলটা মারো বেলটা লস হচ্ছে বেলটা তো লাগছে কোনো হাতে ওটা যাই না কার গাড়ি বেলটা মারো এইভাবে নিয়ে গাড়ি বন্ধ করো হাতটা তোলো ভেতরে একজন পড়ে আছে এই যাও আটকে দাও যাও হসপিটাল যাও থানায় যাও হসপিটাল যাও একটু দেখি কাজটা ইয়ে করে ফেলো না মুখটা দেখো একটু বেঁচে আছে কি বেঁচে থাকলে হসপিটালে নিয়ে চলো হসপিটালে যাও বেঁচে থাকলে হসপিটালে নিয়ে চলো মুখটা একবার দেখো না ভিডিও করো মুখটা একবার দেখি দাও না মুখটা কি আছে এই ফোনটা দাদা এখানে রাখো তুমি কোথা থেকে এসেছো তুমি টান দাও আরে আমরা আছি তো অসুবিধা নেই আরে মুখটা দেখতে হবে তো তারা তিনজন গুলি করে চলে গেছে সেটা বলতে পারবো না আপনি হসপিটালে যান আগে নিয়ে যান হসপিটালে নিয়ে যান দাদা আপনার এখানে বেলটা মারো লস হচ্ছে বেলটা তো লাগছে কোনো হাতে ওটা যাই না কার গাড়ি বেলটা মারো এইভাবে নিয়ে গাড়ি বন্ধ করো হাতটা তোলো ভেতরে একজন পড়ে আছে এই যাও আটকে দাও যাও হসপিটাল যাও
Viewers, when Chandranath was first taken to the hospital after exactly what unfolded, you saw it on your screens, he was declared to be brought dead. The postmortem is now underway. It has been carried on, and in fact, we've managed to speak to the doctors who were involved in the process. Listen in to what they have to say about this entire case.
So the PM we are conducted through a team, by forming a team, formation of a team who is led by our HOD, Department of Forensic Medicine and Toxicology, along with 2 other assistant professors. So all the 3-member team has conducted the autopsy, and in this process also normally we didn't go for a video autopsy, video footage autopsy or video recording, as well as we sometimes only do the autopsy without a magistrate's presence of a magistrate inquest. But here is a sensitive issues, and the request from the police authority, local administration has come for a video PM along with an magistrate inquest. So we have allowed, administration and HOD forensic medicine has allowed for both the thing. And along with that, we have done another thing that as it is a bullet injury cases in our morgue, we have conducted the X-ray, preliminary radiological X-ray to find out the bullets, the location of the bullets. So that is normally not conducted, normally not done in an SOPs, but it's a sensitive case and we know that merit of the thing. So we have totally followed all the SOPs, all the points in the SOPs, so that it will help the investigation in the later part.
In fact, also joining me on the broadcast is my colleague Harsha to get us a lowdown of the situation. Harsha, we heard what the doctors had to say. The post-mortem is underway. Most of it has been carried out. We also have details on the weapon that was used. What more can you tell us, Harsha?
So, Gesu, the investigation is underway. You yourself have described all the CCTV footages, 3 CCTV footages which the Republic has access of and which Republic has its hands on. Each and every CCTV footage clearly tells that how it was a modus operandi of the assailant. They very well had pre-planned this entire budget.
पहन के बैठी है, पुलिस को कोई एक्टिविटी नहीं देख रहे हैं, तो पुलिस अगर एक्टिव हो जाता तो ये दिन देखना नहीं आता है। हम लोग सोचे थे चलो सरकार गई, पुलिस की नींद खुल गई होगी, नहीं खुली अभी तक। पुलिस को अपने स्वरूप में आना चाहिए। लोगों को लगे कि हमने ये सरकार को हटा करके ठीक किया है, पुलिस तो कम से कम सुधर जाए और जानहानि ना हो, इतना ही तो हमें उम्मीद है। যে কোনো রাজ্যে থাকতে পারে, কি করছে, ঘুমোচ্ছে এখনো।
Leader who's in fact holding the police to accountability. He says that the state police now needs to start working without any biases now that the TMC has been uprooted from West Bengal. Harsha, in fact, continues speaking to us about the details of the matter. You know, first we heard the doctor, we also heard Dilip Ghosh right now, who says that the state police needs to really take control of the law and order situation that's unfolding on the streets of West Bengal. Harsha.
Yes, Gesu, why not? Dilip Ghosh is right at his place. Now the system is changed. Now the government is changed. It's not the TMC government anymore. It's the BJP government in the state of West Bengal now. There'll be a ceremony on 9th of May, and we are probably expecting that the administration, the system, the security officials, they'll be more responsible towards their work because they can't have a lenient system what they always had during the TMC government. Cahoots, you know, in cahoots with the troublemongers, supporting assassins, supporting the criminals, not taking them into custody. But this is not how BJP government works in the states they are already in power. BJP is very strict when it comes to the law and order situation. Be it you see the example of Uttar Pradesh, example of Rajasthan or Madhya Pradesh or anywhere else. And that is the reason why Dilip Ghosh is stating that it's the high time the West Bengal police takes the responsibility and deploys maximum forces and also is held accountable in many ways. And now on our screen, Gesu, as you were yourself describing the CCTV footage, look at how helpless, how helpless, unconscious state is Chandra. Was taken to the hospital immediately where he was declared broad dead. 3 bullet shots, 2 on his chest, 1 on his liver. You know, he succumbed to the death. His life couldn't be saved because he was shot at point blank. The entire motive of the assassins was to kill Chandranath. They came with this motive. They fulfilled their motive. They are on the run right now. Investigative agencies are investigative right now. But this is a huge loss for Suvendu Adhikari. This is a personal loss for Suvendu Adhikari because Chandra was one key person who had held his entire Bhabanipur campaign tightly managed everything for Suvendu Adhikari. He was the one person who gave, who gave just tit for tat to the Shashi Panja, Kunal Ghosh when they were protesting outside counting center. He was the one who was facing Mamata Banerjee when she entered counting center, and he was the person who raised this point that how can Mamata Banerjee go inside the counting center late at night. He was the one person at front of each and every news, saving Suvendu Adhikari and also working for Suvendu Adhikari so diligently that he was he was like a sore in the eyes of the TMC people, TMC leaders, and that took his life away. Back to you.
Yes, Harsha, borrowing from, in fact, what you've said, he was, in fact, like a sore in the eyes of the Trinamool Congress. And now, Harsha, continue being with us. We're also getting in some more breaking developments. Now, another CCTV visual has emerged of Suvendu's aide's car. In fact, Chandranath's Scorpio is seen in a CCTV footage moments before the attack. And that CCTV footage has also been accessed by Republic.
கட்சியும் இணைத்து ஒன்றிய அரசான
These are shots of protests that have taken place, that have erupted in Chennai, in Tamil Nadu. Remember, the political temperature in Tamil Nadu also remains hot. Now, this is the CPI, the CPM and the VCK protesting outside the collectorate's office in Chennai. Now, remember, after a hung assembly, even now, the finalization of who will form the government has not been made concrete. The governor has, in fact, asked the TVK to take the governor in confidence in regards to the majority mark of 118 seats. Remember, TVK emerged as the single largest party with 108 seats, which was falling 11 short of the majority mark. Now, this is the fresh visual of the protest that's erupted. CPI, CPM, VCK workers that are protesting outside the collectorate's office. Now, viewers, that's the latest that we're picking up from Chennai. Now, remember, there is a huge question over who forms the government in Tamil Nadu after TVK has fallen short of the majority mark, even after forming an alliance with the Congress party. And not just that, there's also a question of what happens to Tamil Nadu in case a government is not formed at the latest. Remember, the outgoing Chief Minister, M.K. Stalin, has already submitted his resignation. He's left the post of the Chief Minister. In fact, that was very speedily also, in fact, taken in by the governor. It was accepted by the governor, the resignation of M.K. Stalin. That has now put the DMK government out of power officially. And the next government, the incoming government, TVK, does not seem to have the numbers, is what the governor in Tamil Nadu says. And now the fate of the state, the political fate, hangs in balance. In fact, if this takes any more days than today, there could be a strong possibility of the governor's rule, the president's rule, being pressed in on Tamil Nadu for at least a few days, unless there is complete clarity over who forms the next government in Tamil Nadu. Now, remember, TVK Chief Vijay has in fact asked for more time. He's asked to borrow more time from the governor of Tamil Nadu, and he's also expressed confidence that the TVK will in fact form the government and Vijay will emerge as the chief ministerial face. But how will that happen is a huge question. And these are the protest visuals that have erupted right outside the collectorate's office in Chennai. Viewers, now getting in some more breaking development. All the MLAs of the DMK have been called to the DMK headquarters to discuss their stance as the opposition. Now, likely the opposition leader of the DMK at the State Assembly will also be selected. So, all political processes are ongoing simultaneously, where on one hand, the TVK is looking to form the government and looking for more numbers to convince the governor and to go per the electoral process of forming a government. On the other hand, the MLAs of the DMK have been called to the party's headquarters, and this is to discuss their stance as the leading opposition party. Likely also in this meeting, the leader of the DMK in the State Assembly will be selected. Just moments after this meeting, we can expect an announcement over who will be the leader, the leading face of the DMK as it sits in the opposition of the Tamil Nadu State Assembly after TVK emerged as the single largest party on the floor of Tamil Nadu Assembly, winning over 108 seats in the 234-member Assembly of the Tamil Nadu Assembly. Now, the DMK can also finalize the leader of opposition in this very meeting. Remember, all DMK MLAs have been summoned. They've been called to the DMK headquarters in Chennai. And we see multiple things, a plethora of things that are unfolding. Multi-front progress that's taking place in Tamil Nadu, with the TVK chief scrambling to form his government, where he continues to miss the majority mark. Even after 5 more seats in the Congress party's alliance could not patch the entire gap. Now, Sarda joins me live to get us more updates into the matter. Sarda, you know, a protest that was ongoing, CPI and various other parties that are protesting outside the collectorate's office in Chennai, that's ongoing on one side. On the other, the DMK has now summoned all its MLAs. Likely, they will also announce who the face of the opposition is going to be, as the party now sits to be the opposition in Tamil Nadu. Sarda, get us updates on both these fronts.
Well, the DMK is holding a meeting at 5:30 p.m. today at the party headquarters, where the talk is going to be about what the stance as opposition government is going to be, and they'll also be selecting who the opposition party leader at the parliament will be. Earlier it was M.K. Stalin, the party president, but now M.K. Stalin not being elected as the MLA. There's a question on who will be heading over the DMK party at the state legislative assembly. The talks that coming in is Udayanadi, who is holding the deputy chief minister position and will also be the next DMK leader. He will be taking over as the opposition leader in the party. Is going to be Vijay versus Uday is the scenario that the DMK is also planning to fight against. Today morning, M.K. Stalin made it clear that in no way will the DMK stop or disrupt forming Vijay, the government, Vijay from forming the government. They also said that they let Vijay run the government for 6 months without any disturbance as an opposition, and would try to help them as much as possible in their governance as well, and then give them time to adapt, because they're a new party coming into government as well. And in that case, now we have the DMK having an important meeting with its party members, MLAs especially, 73 MLAs from the DMK, out of which 5 are from the VCK, 2 from the Communists, the Marxists, and now there's also 5 from the Congress. So now minusing all that, they'll only have 62 representatives as the DMK in the party. So they're going to be working on as the 62 opposition leaders, because the CPI, the CPM and the VCK are looking at alliances with the TVK, and the decision will be made tomorrow. So the meeting with the 62 MLAs will now decide what their stance at the assembly will be.
So lots that's, you know, ongoing right behind you. These are the protest visuals. I would request if you could also ask your video journalist to sort of pan around the area and show us what's happening, while continue speaking to us about what are the kind of issues that are being raked up outside the collectorate's office. Sarda.
Well, as now the left parties, the Communists, the Marxist Communists and VCK are holding a protest condemning the central government, the BJP, on the price hike of the gas cylinders in the country, especially in the state, how the gas cylinder price has been hiked to 1,100 rupees, the commercial gas cylinders. They are also fighting against about how the reservation for the railway employment has been stopped by the central government in the last 1 month. So the left parties have come together today to fight against the central government on the imposition on the gas prices that are implemented in the state.
Thanks for getting us those details. You know, on one hand, where there are political tensions that are unfolding, with the state's fate being unclear, there are also price hike protests that have broken out in Tamil Nadu. So, of course, a lot that's unfolding in Tamil Nadu. Thanks very much for joining in, Sarda. Now, viewers, we're also getting in another breaking development. We have some exclusive visuals from the resort where AIADMK MLAs are staying. As per sources, at least 40 MLAs have been moved by the AIADMK to the resort, which is in Puducherry. In fact, EPS has also, the party's General Secretary, Edapadi K. Palaniswamy, has also reached the resort in Puducherry. Not just that, various other senior party leadership have reached the resort, with many more even slated to reach the resort later this evening. These are the visuals from inside the resort. Remember, my colleague Aishwarya was on ground since morning. She was getting us reports from inside the resort. Republic TV became the only channel that could enter the premises of this resort and report right from ground zero. Now, Tamil Nadu's focus has once again brought in to their resort politics, with 40 AIADMK MLAs now having been shifted to a resort in Puducherry. Remember, comes after a hung assembly and TVK struggling to form a government with the majority mark not getting reached. Listen into Aishwarya's report.
With the AIADMK's almost 25 MLAs have been given accommodation in this particular resort. As you can see, we are having the inside visuals. This is the house where the entire AIADMK's 25 MLAs are being residing. As you can see, one MLAs are coming and going inside those particular resorts. With there are almost all MLAs coming. Recently, one of the MLAs have just reached as well. Almost the entire resort has been booked so that all the 25 MLAs are not going or not turning into a rebel factory within the AIADMK, so that they can protect them and prove that TBK does not have a majority on the floor. They would not go with the TBK. That is what this particular entire exercise is looking at. If you can see, these are the rooms that are being given to the AIADMK MLAs, and here.
Viewers, that's all that we could wrap for you in this edition of the News Bulletin. But don't go anywhere. On the other side, the TMC is being alleged behind the murder of Suvendu's personal assistant and close aide, Chandranath, by the BJP. In fact, they've taken direct hits at Trinamool Congress's Abhishek Banerjee. Getting you all the details, stay tuned.
What's behind the Hanta virus outbreak on the cruise ship? We tell you about that at 6:30 p.m. Also, how Iran is looking to take a decision on United States proposal, even as Donald Trump threatens to bomb Iran again in order to build pressure. We also get you what is New Delhi's message to Terroristan on the anniversary of Operation Sindoor. We get you all the stories that matter from across the globe on our Global at 6:30 p.m. with me, Rakshita Mishra.
Join International Institute of Hotel Management. Call 983-10-50,000.
कोशिश को कामयाबी को शोहरत बनते देखा है। हाँ, पिछले 60 सालों में मैंने देश को बनते देखा है। कमला पसंद, 60 सालों से अनोखा स्वाद।
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद, यही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा, क्या स्वाद है। अरे मेरे राजा, मसाला।
Approximately 3:30 this afternoon, our plainclothes officers and agents that consistently patrol the outer perimeter of the White House complex identified a suspicious individual that appeared to have a firearm. They called in support from our marked uniformed Secret Service police to make contact with that individual. Upon making contact, that individual fled briefly on foot, withdrew a firearm, and fired in the direction of our agents and officers. They returned fire and engaged. That individual was hit. He's since been transported to the hospital. I have no comments on his condition. I can tell you that at least one, we believe only one bystander was hit by the suspect. That individual, it's a juvenile, did not sustain any life-threatening injuries, but he's also receiving treatment at the hospital. I'll point out that not long before this shooting occurred, the Vice President's motorcade did transit through this area. The investigation itself, in terms of the use of force in the shooting, will be conducted by Metropolitan Police Department.
Great to be here. I'm thrilled to be back in the home of
a great place. I love Florida. We love Florida. With all of the very proud, great American patriots of the villages. Are we happy with the villages? We like the villages. Now, you know, I shouldn't be...
चमकी चाट से क्या बना है?
आलू चाट या फ्रूट चाट,
स्वाद बनाए चमकी चाट।
क्या बात है? स्वादिष्ट पकोड़े और फरसान, अरे चमकी चाट है इसकी जान।
असली स्वाद सिर्फ चंकी चाट।
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
आर प्योर शाही पनीर मसाला, डिलीशियस, हेल्दी एवरी डे।
চুরিও এই ছেলেরা রুখবে সীমান্তের হিন্দুকে না বুকে আগলে রাখবো 15 বছর কেটেছি অনেক এবার ঘোরা ভোটের দিনে ছাপ্পারে কি চলবে না তো সরকার চাই বিজেপি সরকার সরকার চাই বিজেপি সরকার
Suvendu Adhikari's election back-end person Chandranath has been shot at.
ये विवा सिटी अस्पताल है जहां पर चंद्रनाथ रथ को लाया गया था और उनको ब्रॉड डेड यहां पर डिक्लेयर किया गया।
The man who managed the Bhabanipur election for Suvendu Adhikari has been killed. The question is, where is the culpability? You see these windows have been shot at point blank. These are sniper killers. These are professional killers. They're obviously working on the instructions. This is a contract killer.
Suvendu Adhikari, close aide and personal assistant, shot dead at point blank range. Suvendu Adhikari's aide who handled Bhabanipur campaign killed in cold-blooded murder. The CCTV footage shows Suvendu's aide pinned down and shot dead. More details emerge in killing of Suvendu Adhikari's right hand. Chandranath shot dead just 60 meters away from his house. After a failed attempt to prove majority, TVK chief Vijay rushes to Lok Bhavan to meet the governor. New list likely today. Resort politics begins in Tamil Nadu. Sources tell around 40 AIADMK MLAs moved to a resort by the High Command. Republic TV is the only channel to report from the resort. Very warm welcome. I'm Rakshita Mishra with you. Huge crisis breaking out in Tamil Nadu. Governor says Vijay does not have the number. Again, he went to the governor's house today. Again, no numbers. What's really happening? We'll connect with our correspondent. Huge crisis breaking out now, ladies and gentlemen. It's just the deadline is 10th of May when the assembly tenure ends. Tamil Nadu assembly tenure ends. And it's race against time for Vijay, who's the single largest party. And he is now in talks with other parties like the VCK, the left parties, the IUML. Congress, of course, has sealed the deal with the TVK, but the crisis remains because the governor is not satisfied with the majority claim, or rather the numbers claim that has been put up by TVK chief Vijay. Republic TV getting the big news break from Tamil Nadu. A political crisis unfolding right after the elections, and Tamil Nadu governor says that Vijay does not have the requisite number to form a government, to form the stable government, and that of course is being objected upon, also objected by the opposition parties as well. Our Congress party is also going to hold protest tomorrow at 11 a.m. and the questions being raised by the Congress over the governor's stand, and we'll just get more details on that. We have on one side the AIADMK, some AIADMK MLAs being locked up in a resort there. We know about Congress joining hands with the TVK, but that is not enough. Vijay needs more the support of more parties, and he's in talks with what we understand that the party is in talks with the other regional parties as well. So we'll try and get more details on that. We can go to the next breaking, that is the Congress ready to hold protest tomorrow at 11 a.m. against the governor, Governor Rajendra Arlekar. Congress has objected to the stand that has been taken by the governor after Congress joins TVK. Governor not approving Vijay to take oath and form the government. Now Congress blames the governor of playing favoritism, of indulging in favoritism instead of following the constitution, and asking Vijay to in fact, him to call the majority number gain party, the party with the majority, and allow TVK to do a floor test. So these are the details that we are getting you from Tamil Nadu. We're also getting you more and more updates that we are getting from the resort where some AIADMK MLAs have also been camping. So it's a political thriller. It's not ended yet. So for Vijay to become the chief minister, there is a roadblock, there are hurdles. The governor is not happy, not satisfied, not convinced with the numbers that have been communicated by the TVK. And now let's shift our focus to West Bengal, viewers. Republic TV has accessed details of the post-mortem report of Chandranath Rath, who was Suvendu Adhikari's aide, and he was murdered last night on his way to his residence. Now, post-mortem report is suggesting that he was fired upon using a semi-automatic firearm. Initial reports suggest that a weapon was improvised. Automatic pistol was used. Australia-made weapon was used to kill Suvendu Adhikari's aide. And there are bullet injuries on his chest, at least two bullet injuries on his chest, one injury on his stomach. He was killed point blank.
তুমি কোথা থেকে এসছো তুমি টান দাও আরে আমরা আছি তো অসুবিধা নেই আরে মুখটা দেখতে হবে তো তারা তিনজন গুলি করে চলে গেছে সেটা বলতে পারবো না আপনি হসপিটালে যান আগে নিয়ে যান হসপিটালে নিয়ে যান দাদা বেলটা মারো লস হচ্ছে বেলটা তো লাগছে কোনো ভাত খাওয়াতে ওটা যাই না কার গাড়ি বেলটা মারো এইভাবে নিয়ে যাও গাড়ি বন্ধ করো হাতটা তোলো ভেতরে একজন এরকম পড়ে আছে এই যাও আটকে দাও হসপিটাল যাও থানায় যাও হসপিটাল যাও
All right, so we are just going to show you, viewers, the moments leading up to this chilling murder. So video number 1 showing SUV of Chandranath. He was sitting in the passenger seat on the front. It passes the toll booth there in Madhyamgram of West Bengal. So this is the moment when he was passing the toll booth. The next video that we are going to show you will show you the assailants, the bike-borne assailants. They were chasing Chandranath's SUV. There you have. This man stops and waits for the other one to catch up. Then they move parallelly together simultaneously. Then cut to video number 3. That's the moment, just moments before the attack. Chandranath's SUV can be seen in this CCTV footage. It has crossed the toll. It has moved ahead 60 meters away from his residence, and then he's shot point blank range. Chandranath's body, you can see him in that lilac shirt, and he's shot from point blank range. He's dead. On arrival, he is brought dead to the hospital, where he was rushed to the hospital, but he was brought dead. And the doctors in their postmortem also suggest that he died on the spot. In fact, this is this SUV, the Scorpio, in which he was sitting at the passenger seat. It's riddled with bullet holes. So then 5 to 6 rounds were fired upon. And the other visual showed that Suvendu Adhikari, he reached the hospital last night, and along with Shokanta Majumdar also, who reached the hospital, the Union Minister and BJP's Bengal leader. He was at the hospital, and you can see the crowd outside. There were many supporters and workers of the BJP who had gathered out there. The slogan, he had raised slogans against the TMC as well. So there was a lot of anger, understandably, against what was a political murder. And right-hand man of Suvendu was killed. His mother in tears, inconsolable. So this is the chain of events. In fact, we'll just go back to Tamil Nadu, where we see my colleague Shada getting us more inputs. But okay, I am told that we'll go back to that story later on. Right now, we continue with this killing. Suvendu Adhikari's aide assassinated, his family in mourning, you can see in this video. And of course, they demand justice for their son as well. As he's killed, a planned murder is being pointed at here. How it was a recce conducted, as claimed by Suvendu Adhikari, and he was traced and tracked as all his activities were being monitored. And what it looks like now, viewers, is a planned murder. And viewers, this happens just 48 hours after this historic win of the BJP. And importantly, Suvendu Adhikari leading the charge. The giant killer, Suvendu Adhikari, who has defeated Mamata Banerjee back-to-back in both the assembly elections. We can also play out Suvendu Adhikari's bite when we do get the time. We also have the forensic team, viewers, that is right now at the spot. We'll just go across to those visuals that are coming in. The forensic team has been called in at the crime spot in Madhyamgram. And my colleague Harsha brings us this report.
Right now I'm reporting from the crime spot, where exactly late at night, around between 10:30 to 11 p.m. exactly, Suvendu Adhikari's close aide PA Chandranath was shot at point blank. Right now this entire area is cordoned off, and sealed has been put up, securing the forensic evidences. But clearly the broken glass shards and the broken window glasses could also be seen at the crime spot right now from where I'm reporting. This is the exact place, the narrow lane in the Madhyamgram Madavgram area, which falls under the Barasat police station. I'll also show you the visuals because the forensic team is right now at the spot, and where we are walking right now, exactly from this place at night, Chandranath Rath along with his driver was going to his house after leaving the convoy of Suvendu Adhikari. His house, his residence from this place is exactly 60 meters away. His residence is 60 meters away, and the family members of Chandranath Rath also spoke about it. They stated that in completing after entire election and the counting after almost 1 month to more, Chandranath Rath was finally coming to his residence yesterday night when he was targeted by the assailants. And also not only Suvendu Adhikari but BJP leaders have called this the political assassination, targeting TMC party and stating that the recce was done for many days of Chandranath Rath, his convoy, and how exactly he was with Suvendu Adhikari, since how long he is and what is his route, what is his itinerary. Every day it was being recceed, and after that yesterday he was shot at point blank, and also not one and two but multiple bullets were fired at him on his chest, on his head and stomach as well. When he was brought at Viva City Hospital, he was declared broad dead by the doctors at the hospital. But right now we show you the visuals because the forensic team right now has also reached the spot where the shells of the bullet was also recovered. Many officers have come to the spot. SIT has also been formed in this entire case to investigate. The CCTV footage of the nearby shops is being investigated and is being monitored into Chandranath Rath's.
मध्यम ग्राम में जहां पर चंद्रनाथ रथ रहते थे वहीं पर मैं मौजूद हूं, और यहां पर मेरे साथ कुछ ऐसे लोग हैं जिन्होंने उनको उस हालत में देखा जब उनके शरीर से खून बह रहा था, वो घायल थे और करा रहे थे। आप वहां मौके पर मौजूद थे, आपने क्या देखा जब आप वहां पर पहुंचे, क्या देखा आपने?
আমি যখন গুলির আওয়াজ পেলাম আর লোকের চিৎকার শুনলাম 2-3 জনের, हमने सुना जो चिल्लाने का आवाज है गोली लग गया, तो हमने दौड़ के गया, जाके देखा एक स्कॉर्पियो पड़ा है, दरवाजा बंद है और उनका शीशा टूटा हुआ है। और
कहां पर पड़ा था?
थोड़ा दूर जो गाड़ी है उसके सामने, और पड़ा हुआ था, और उनके सामने एक ऑल्टो कार गार्ड किया हुआ था। ऑल्टो कार में कोई नहीं था।
अच्छा, छोटी कार थी?
हाँ, छोटी कार थे, उसमें कोई नहीं था।
वो कार उनकी स्कॉर्पियो के आगे आपको दिखाई?
हाँ, एकदम फेस टू फेस खड़ा था।
अच्छा, तो ऐसा लग रहा था जैसे वो छोटी कार ने उनकी स्कॉर्पियो
वो रास्ता रोक दिया। उसके बाद हमने दरवाजा खोलने कहा, वो डर के मारे दरवाजा नहीं खोल रहा था। तो हमने बोला हमने
कौन नहीं खोल रहा था? जो ड्राइवर उनके साथ
अंदर थे, शायद उनको और भी गोली मारे या इसके डर से नहीं खोल रहा था। तो हमने बोला हम भाजपा कार्यकर्ता है, तुमको डरने के बाद नहीं दरवाजा खोलो।
आप कहाँ पर रहते हैं?
हाँ, यही पर है।
आप यहीं इसी मोहल्ले में रहते हैं? और चंद्रनाथ यहाँ से थोड़ा आगे 200 किलोमीटर
जो फ्लैट है उसमें रहते थे, और एक कार के सामने ही हुआ था।
ठीक है, तो दरवाजा नहीं खोला, फिर आपने कैसे उनको मनाया दरवाजा?
हमने बोला हमने भाजपा कार्यकर्ता है, इधर ही रहता है, डरने के बाद नहीं खोलो दरवाजा। साथ खोल दिया, देखा सामने एक इंजर्ड है पड़ा है और एक रो रहा था, और पीछे एक शायद बॉडी पड़ा था। तो हमने बोला किसने मारा, वो कुछ बता नहीं पा रहा था, कार रो रही थी। तो देखा सामने जो पड़ा था उनको बहुत ब्लीडिंग हो रहा था, लेकिन जिंदा है। तो हमने बोला तो अभी जिंदा है, तुमको गाड़ी मिलेगा या हम गाड़ी कर देंगे? बोले नहीं, हम ड्राइव कर सकते। हाँ, जल्दी से आगे इनको बचाओ, हॉस्पिटल लेके एडमिट कराओ, इनको बचाओ, उसके बाद हम देखता हूँ। वो गाड़ी घुमा के लेके
किस हॉस्पिटल लेके?
विवा सिटी हॉस्पिटल चौमाथा में। और हमने पुलिस को फोन किया, जिला दफ्तर में फोन किया, उसके बाद कंफर्म हुआ वो चंद्रनाथ रथ जी है, सुवेंदु दा का पीए।
अच्छा, जो ड्राइवर घायल हुए थे उन्होंने घायल होने के बाद भी गाड़ी चलाई, आप ये कह रहे हैं?
उनको तो उस समय तो अंधेरा था, और हमने बहुत जल्दबाजी से उनको रेस्क्यू करके भेजा है। दोनों पड़ा था, हमने वो ड्राइवर के बगल में जो थे उनको तो पूरा ब्लीडिंग हो रहा था, और पीछे एक सोया हुआ था, उनको भी ठीक से दिखाई नहीं दिया। हाँ, तो कौन ड्राइवर है, कौन चंद्रनाथ जी थे, ये
नहीं पता लग पाया था।
पता नहीं लग पाया।
उसी गाड़ी से आप रेस्क्यू करके अस्पताल ले गए?
हम नहीं लेके, हमने भेज के मध्यमग्राम पीएस में फोन किया।
उसी गाड़ी से मतलब यहाँ से वो लोग गए?
वो गए और 5-10 मिनट के अंदर पुलिस आ गया, हमने सब कुछ बता दिया। और
टीएमसी के कार्यकर्ताओं को, टीएमसी वालों को आदत बनी हुई है, मर्डर करो, भाग जाओ, बहन बेटी की इज्जत ली तो अराजकता फैलाना, दंगे कराना। आपने देखा संदेश खाली में भी ऐसे ही होता था। पिछले चुनाव के बाद भी इन्होंने ऐसे ही किया था, लोगों को फांसी पे लटका दिया, जेब में पर्चियां डाल दी, उसको लिखना आता नहीं है, सुसाइड बता दिया। इस तरह के हत्याकांड ये करते रहे। लेकिन इनको मालूम होना चाहिए सरकार बदल चुकी है, और ये सरकार बदलने के कारण इसके परिणाम इनको लंबे वक्त तक भुगतने पड़ेंगे इन लोगों को। जैसे हमारी प्रामाणिकता पे अनेकों सरकारें चल रही हैं और वहाँ पर लॉ एंड ऑर्डर इस प्रकार से हम मेंटेन करते हैं, तो क्रिमिनल जो होता है गले के अंदर तख्ती डाल के आता है कि मुझे माफ़ कर दो, तो ये हालत होने वाली है वहाँ पर। लेकिन जाते जाते ये कर रहे हैं, इनकी मानसिकता है। जिस प्रकार से इन्होंने शासन किया है 15 साल तक, उसी प्रकार से पुनः शोषण करना चाहते हैं, दबाव बनाना चाहते हैं। डॉक्टरों की हत्या करने का काम इन्होंने किया है, लोकतंत्र की हत्या करने का काम किया है। भारतीय जनता पार्टी सरकार संविधान के नजरिए से और लोकतंत्र की रक्षा के लिए पूरा कदम उठाएगी।
सर, जब इलेक्शन कैंपेनिंग चल रही थी तब टीएमसी के अभिषेक बैनर्जी ने ये बोला था कि 4 तारीख के बाद 12 बजे हम आपको बताएंगे, तो क्या उसी के रिप्लाई में ये टीएमसी वालों ने करवाया है? क्या आपको लगता है उनका हाथ है?
ये सारे गुंडे टीएमसी के ही हैं, सारे के सारे। पकड़ने के बाद आपको मालूम पड़ जाएगा, क्योंकि जैसे इनके बयान आए हैं, जैसे इनकी भावना है, जिस प्रकार से 15 साल तक इन्होंने शासन किया है, ये वही नजरिया वही दिखाई दे रहा है सारा का सारा। और हमने भी कहा था कि 4 तारीख के बाद ये गुंडे बचेंगे नहीं। 1, 2, 4, 5 दिखाई दे रहे हैं, इनको मालूम पड़ेगा ये भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सरकार है, एक राष्ट्रवादी सरकार है। देश में कोई भी अराजकता फैलाने वाला बचने वाला नहीं है, कानून अपना काम करेगा।
Meanwhile, viewers, we're getting in a big update from Howrah's Shivpur now in Bengal. Massive bomb blast has been reported now. An attack is being reported, in fact, from Howrah, and allegations are being raised against the TMC. Is the TMC behind this attack? It's a bomb blast that has taken place in Shivpur of Howrah. It's an attack that has taken place in Howrah, and TMC hand is being alleged. This is, viewers, again another example of post-poll violence in West Bengal. Not even 24 hours have passed in this chilling murder of Suvendu Adhikari's aide, and now you are hearing of, we are reporting this bomb blast, this attack from Howrah in West Bengal. Viewers, this is another example, is adding to this unfortunate list of incidents of post-poll violence. There have been violent clashes taking place in Howrah already, viewers. TMC versus BJP clashes were reported in Uluberia earlier in Howrah. And now we see that another attack is reported. My colleague Harsha joins us on the broadcast. Harsha, what has happened in Howrah now?
So, Raksha, this is the post-poll escalation which has taken place in Howrah. Now, Uluberia is not the first time where the post-poll violence have been reported. Day before yesterday also there was clashes between TMC and BJP in the Uluberia area in Howrah, where the where the BJP karyakartas were injured. They were taken that time also to the nearby hospital, and this time also again they were the angry TMC supporters who started the altercation, who started the clash first. And in the visuals we can clearly see these are the BJP supporters who have been taken to the nearby hospital. There were the bombs which were hurled at the BJP supporters and karyakartas. The security personnel are deployed, and they were the unidentified anti-social elements who were actually behind this massive bomb attack in the Uluberia in Howrah. The pictures, the videos have now come out, and several BJP supporters and karyakartas have been taken to the nearby. They have been rushed to the nearby hospital. The case has been registered against the anti-social elements, unidentified miscreants who were behind this
this attack. But right now what we know is that the situation in West Bengal goes day by day grim. Just 48 hours after the victory of the BJP in West Bengal and 2 days before the oath ceremony, these escalations and violence being reported continuously sends a lot of messaging in the state of West Bengal that TMC doesn't seem to be very happy with the defeat and how the supporters are now rattled and are on streets by clearly going on altercation and starting the clashes with the BJP supporters wherever they are finding that there's no police deployment or security personnel. Now, however, security personnel have been beefed in the Uluberia area, but Havra always has been very sensitive, Rakshita, keeping in mind the demographic change and the minorities in majority in that area. Back to you.
All right, Wayne, thanks, Harsha, for joining us with details coming in on that story. Viewers, in the meantime, we step into a very, very short break. But on the other side, we bring you really what's happening in Tamil Nadu. The thriller is not ending yet. Resort politics has also begun. Sources tell around 40 AIADMK MLAs have been moved to the resort by the High Command. More on the other side.
Tonight on This Is Exclusive, we get you the most definitive account of India's finest military operation, Operation Sindoor. Minute by minute details of what really transpired on the intervening night of 6th and 7th of May. And not just that, role of Indian Navy has finally been revealed.
प्यास बुझाए ठंडक लाए सबको भाई जीरा से MTH का जलजीरा जीरा से
जीरा से असली रिफ्रेशिंग, असली स्वाद, असली मजा।
AU सेविंग्स अकाउंट में मिलते हैं अमेजिंग बेनिफिट्स, पेपरलेस बैंकिंग एंड हायर इंटरेस्ट, वो भी हर महीने।
मनी 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 एवरी मंथ।
सोच बदलो और बैंक भी।
आर प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो, मिलाओ और खाओ,
8 मिनट में तैयार।
क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा, आर प्योर मसाला।
Approximately 3:30 this afternoon, our plainclothes officers and agents that consistently patrol the outer perimeter of the White House complex identified a suspicious individual that appeared to have a firearm. They called in support from our marked uniformed Secret Service police to make contact with that individual. Upon making contact, that individual fled briefly on foot, withdrew a firearm, and fired in the direction of our agents and officers. They returned fire and engaged. That individual was hit. He's since been transported to the hospital. I have no comments on his condition. I can tell you that at least one, we believe only one bystander was hit by the suspect. That individual is a juvenile, did not sustain any life-threatening injuries, but he's also receiving treatment at the hospital. I'll point out that not long before this shooting occurred, the Vice President's motorcade did transit through this area. The investigation itself, in terms of the use of force in the shooting, will be conducted by Metropolitan Police Department.
You have 3 states and 3 controversial outcomes. In Bengal, there is a political assassination. In Tamil Nadu, you have a single largest party, but not having the majority. And in Kerala, you have a clear winner, but the choice for the Chief Minister threatens to break up the Congress party. 3 of the biggest political headlines following the elections of 2026 coming up on The Verdict at 6 p.m.
Join International Institute of Hotel Management. Call 983-10-50,000.
चमकी चाट से क्या बना है?
सैंडविच लस्सी और छाछ।
हर घूंट में चमकी चाट। ड्राई फ्रूट और दो ही बड़े। चंकी चाट से स्वाद बढ़े।
असली स्वाद सिर्फ चंकी चाट।
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद, यही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा, क्या स्वाद है। अरे मेरे राजा,
राजा आरती और मसाला।
চুরিও এই ছেলেরা রুখবে, সীমান্তের হিন্দুকে না বুকে আগলে রাখবো। 15 বছর কেটেছি অনেক, এবার ঘোরা আসবো। ভোটের দিনে ছাপ্পা রেকিং চলবে না তো। সরকার চাই বিজেপি সরকার, সরকার চাই বিজেপি সরকার।
Behind the Hanta virus outbreak on the cruise ship, we tell you about that at 6:30 p.m. Also, how Iran is looking to take a decision on United States proposal, even as Donald Trump threatens to bomb Iran again in order to build pressure. We also get you what is New Delhi's message to terroristan on the anniversary of Operation Sindoor. We get you all the stories that matter from across the globe on our Global at 6:30 p.m. with me, Rakshita Mishra.
We get you the most definitive account of India's finest military operation, Operation Sindoor. Minute by minute details of what really transpired on the intervening night of 6th and 7th of May. And not just that, role of Indian Navy has finally been revealed.
Suvendu Adhikari's election back-end person, Chandranath, has been shot at.
ये रीवा सिटी अस्पताल है जहां पर चंद्रनाथ रथ को लाया गया था और उनको ब्रॉड डेड यहां पर डिक्लेयर किया गया।
The man who managed the Bhabanipur election for Suvendu Adhikari has been killed. The question is, where is the culpability? You see, these windows have been shot at point blank. These are sniper killers. These are professional killers. They're obviously working on the instructions. This is a contract killer.
From Asia's largest news headquarters, setting the agenda for Bharat. You're watching Republic.
Thank you for watching us all through this election season, ladies and gentlemen. You're watching The Verdict. And at 6 p.m., out of the 5 battleground states, 3 of them are extremely complicated with 3 big controversies in each of these states. In Bengal, after the elections, post-poll violence has become the headline, with Suvendu Adhikari's right-hand man, the man who managed the Bhabanipur constituency, being shot dead overnight. In Tamil Nadu, you have a single party which has got the most number of MLAs but does not have the majority. And in Kerala, you have a mandate which is resounding, but you have 3 people in one party fighting, and it appears that they are headed for a split there on the Chief Minister face in Kerala as well. We're getting you all that and more on The Verdict this evening. Here are the headlines related to the elections of 2026. Suvendu Adhikari's aide shot dead in Bengal overnight, killed after he's tailed and shot in the chest 7 times. The man who managed and handled the Bhabanipur campaign for Suvendu Adhikari, killed in what appears to be a pre-planned, premeditated murder. CCTV footage shows Suvendu's aide was tailed, pinned down, shot dead. Suvendu points fingers at the Trinamool Congress. He was killed about 60 meters from his home. We have the full details of how the attackers knew exactly where to corner Chandranath Rath. There's a crisis brewing in Tamil Nadu. For a second time in 2 days, Vijay meets the governor. But the governor tells him he does not have the numbers yet to form the government. AIADMK MLAs move to a resort. EPS likely to move to the resort as well. Resort politics breaks out as Vijay struggles to get the numbers hung assembly in Tamil Nadu. Getting in breaking news, ladies and gentlemen, these are pictures coming in from Chennai. Before we go across to the pictures coming in from Chennai, these are pictures coming in from Bengal of the last rites of Chandranath. Chandranath Rath.
हर किसी की आंखें इस वक्त
बात करने बोलो. बात करने बोलो. To rest. Yes, sir. From West Bengal, the last rites of Chandranath Rath, the right-hand man of Suvendu Adhikari, who was shot dead last night. Through the day, we've been looking at pictures of how he was cornered, pinned down near a T-point, briefly after he moved away from Suvendu. That Suvendu Adhikari, right by his side in the last moments of Chandranath Rath. The story of Chandranath Rath, his family and Suvendu Adhikari have followed the same path for several years now. For almost 2 decades, Chandranath Rath served in the Indian Air Force. And after his stint in the Indian Air Force, he joined politics. Initially, his family was associated with the Trinamool Congress. His mother also a leader at the grassroots level, was associated with the Trinamool Congress, and throughout they've been close associates of Suvendu Adhikari. From in his initial days, they were following Suvendu Adhikari, and when he switched to the BJP, they too with him switched to the BJP. And that is why many people believe the murder of Chandranath Rat is not a one-off case. It is a targeted killing. He was targeted, he was picked out for what happened in Bhabanipur. He was the assistant, the personal secretary to Suvendu Adhikari for many years now. And that is why after the elections of 2026, when Bengal has seen a record mandate, this man had a big role to play in the rise of Suvendu Adhikari, and in Suvendu Adhikari winning that seat over Mamata Banerjee in what was a resounding mandate for the BJP. Suvendu Adhikari won the seat by over 15,000 votes, and it's not accidental. He played a large role. And even when Suvendu was a minister in the Trinamool Congress before joining the BJP, this man whose last rites are being conducted, Chandranath Rat, he was a close aide, an assistant secretary of Suvendu Adhikari, even back then in the Water Resources Department. So these are powerful pictures coming in from Bengal. Harsha is joining me live. Harsha has also tracked the election campaign of Suvendu. She spoke to Suvendu a couple of times during the campaign. Harsha, Chandranath Rat, the fact that he was targeted, it's not accidental. They knew exactly who they were going after, whoever did this.
Yes, sir, that's a very sad day. It's when, entire, sadness and unrest you can clearly see in the commotion in the, in the village of Chandranath, where exactly the mortal remains of Chandranath has been brought. It's the Purva Medinipur in 2019. Niranjan Chandranath joined Suvendu Adhikari. He was the key man, not only close aide, the key man who actually planned each and everything for the Bhabanipur constituency. Suvendu Adhikari trusted him so much that he ensured that Chandranath only plans the itinerary, the day-to-day schedules, the media meetings, and the other meetings for the Bhabanipur, the door-to-door campaign. And he was the only person who took on Mamata Banerjee on the day of the counting, and the day before the counting, when Mamata Banerjee went inside the counting center, he was the first man who actually, said that why Mamata Banerjee is allowed inside the counting center. In fact, he took on Shashi Pandey and Kunal Ghosh as well. When the TMC vehicle was parked outside counting center, he has been working so closely with Suvendu Adhikari, and right now there's unrest and sadness among all the BJP Karyakartas because this is so much of forceful escalation in the state of West Bengal. No one would have thought a man who is a key man who has planned everything for Suvendu Adhikari, who has done so much for the party, and he's not associated with Suvendu Adhikari when Suvendu Adhikari came into BJP, but he was much before associated with Suvendu Adhikari. The entire family of Chandranath is a politically affluent family. His mother was connected politically. She herself had a designation. And that family is politically affluent. And this happening to Chandranath, the man who was going to his house at night after winding up his work, leaving the cabinet of Suvendu Adhikari, and it was shot point blank. Multiple rounds of firing at him, and you see the visuals of the village, the place from where Chandranath came from. As soon as the mortal remains were brought, and these friends, relatives, family members, the villagers, the para people, each and every one was waiting for Chandranath. They never would have thought that the person Chandranath will come back to his own village, but his body will come. His mortal remains will come. They would have never thought it. They have always seen Chandranath rising politically in political corridors. They have seen such a disciplined man associated with Ramakrishnan mission. He had no enemies, Niranjan. Trust me, he has no enemies apart from the TMC, who was very rapid and furious, and they were targeting and pinpointing each and every one who was working closely with Suvendu Adhikari. This is the revenge they have taken for the defeat of Mamata Banerjee, and it's very upsetting, very sad that a young man has lost his life. Why? Because TMC took Chandranath as a sword in their eyes. And what was the result? The result is that he was shot at point blank. Several rounds fired at him. Two bullets on chest, one bullet on liver. 3 bullets were taken out from his body. One just passed his heart. And this is very sad day. The entire villages could be seen, very emotional. They're emotional. They have been sharing anecdotes tales with Chandranath, that what relation Chandranath had with them. This boy who grew up in Purva Bhabanipur, Chandipur is the place, his village from where he actually hails from, and from that he has risen to Kolkata, been in the political corridors, knows in and out of political party, has worked with Suvendu Adhikari for more than 15 years, and look at this end. No one would have thought that this is going to be the end of Chandranath. No one would have thought, and the eyes are teary. You see at the relatives and the friends, the village people, the local residents, all teary, and all never have imagined that the mortal remains of Chandranath will come and they will have to bid final goodbye to Chandranath today. Very sad day, and we see Suvendu Adhikari standing right now in the village. He was the first Suvendu Adhikari. How close? You see how would have been the camaraderie and the relation of Suvendu Adhikari and Chandranath, that yesterday, after hearing the news, Niranjan, Suvendu Adhikari was the first one to come to the hospital, and today also he's in the village of Chandranath. That's the bond, and that's a sad day for Suvendu Adhikari himself. He has not only lost a PA, a close aide, a trusted aide, he has lost a friend, he has lost a son-like figure. He always treated Chandranath like his own son. So he has lost someone who has managed everything for him, a key person in Suvendu Adhikari's life. The entire Bhabanipur is sad today, and they are very sad over the death of Chandranath. Back to you.
Stay with these pictures coming in from Chandipur. This is in Purba, Bhabanipur. That's where he hails from. And if you're looking at these pictures, ladies and gentlemen, he's draped in the tricolour. Chandranath Rath served in the Indian Air Force before getting into politics. Educated in the Ramakrishna Mission. That is why you will see the saffron cloth being draped over his body. He's being draped by the saffron cloth. Someone who believed in a Sanatan Dharma. Like Suvendu Adhikari, Chandranath Rath fought the Trinamool Congress on ideological lines. And that is why the Mamata Banerjee regime, perhaps, when they were in power, marked him out, given his contribution to the victory of Suvendu Adhikari in Bhabanipur, something that even Mamata Banerjee did not expect, looking at the scale of the victory on the ground. And it was all due to the groundwork that was done for Suvendu Adhikari. First in Nandigram in 2021, when Suvendu won by 1,956 votes, that was in Nandigram. Followed by the victory in Bhabanipur. In Bhabanipur, he won by over 15,000 votes. So Suvendu goes from strength to strength, but the people behind him, his team, led by Chandranath Rath, who was killed last night, had done the work on the ground, making it happen. And that is why he was perhaps picked out, he was singled out, and he was targeted. And all the visuals that we've been getting you here on Republic TV indicate just one aspect, that he was tailed, he was targeted, he was pinned down, and he was shot dead. 10 bullets were pumped into Chandranath Rath when he was killed last night. And we are staying with these pictures. People knew him, and this is his hometown, by the way, in Chandipur. Chandipur in Purba, Bhabanipur is the hometown of Chandranath Rath. And that is why you're seeing people come out in large numbers. A look at the profile of this man, and it tells you how much he was respected and loved by people, his family, friends, well-wishers, political allies. He was serving in the Indian Air Force for a long time before he joined politics. And politics did not happen accidentally to him. His family was involved in politics and has been closely associated with Suvendu Adhikari. And that is why he joined politics. And he's followed Suvendu Adhikari right from his days in the Trinamool Congress to when he joined the BJP as a minister, to when he joined the BJP and became a senior leader. Harsha is still on the phone line with us. What do we know about the investigation so far, Harsha? If you can take us through the investigation. In fact, many people, everybody who knows about the BJP's rise, anybody who knows Suvendu Adhikari knew the story of Chandranath Rath and how close he was to Suvendu and how critical he was to the entire BJP campaign. Right? Now, what do we know about his killers? About the people who targeted him?
So So, Narendra, those were the unidentified assailants, and still the probe is on. Search is underway. SIT has been constituted, who's working on the investigation. There have been multiple CCTV footages which have been found from the crime spot, and also 3 people have been taken into custody, who are the local residents, and police is suspicious that they were aware of the unidentified assailant, and whether they also knew that whether they were the contract killers or they were the local TMC goons. So therefore, questioning is underway, and more arrest and more detention is being done in this entire matter. For now, we know that the team of intelligence and the team of the West Bengal Police and CID have taken multiple evidences from the crime spot. They already have started the investigation. But also, one thing is for sure, that police is also suspecting that this is only up to West Bengal, or there were unidentified assailants who have come across border. So there's also one of the suspicion of the police, and therefore the help from the BSF and the CRPF is being taken by the SIT, which has been constituted. We have been told that this is a topmost priority case to nab the culprits, to nab the murderers or the assailants of Chandranath, and therefore the agencies have been working since yesterday night to till now. In fact, the entire area was cordoned off. We have been told that the multiple level of questioning was done with the 3 people who have been taken into custody. The questioning has been done by the SIT and by the CID as well, and also the phone locations of Chandranath, whether it was shared with someone or not, who all the close-knitted people of Chandranath were aware that he is leaving for his residence was known by. Those people are also being questioned. Not only this, there were several locals of Madhyagram area who were close to Chandranath. They were also questioned today by CID. So the investigation, we can see that investigation is on the go. The police is investigating. It's a deep investigation that is taking place. But till now, none of the assailants have been caught. 2 were on the bike. One was in the car, which came from forward, which actually blocked the Scorpio from moving ahead. And then the bikers leveled up and started firing bullet shots at Chandranath and on the vehicle Scorpio as well. So these assailants are right now on the run. They have not been caught as of now, but Niranjan, the security has been leveled up across the border, in the West Bengal and Bangladesh border areas as well, in the city, outside the city, and the police operations not only of West Bengal but the nearby states have also been alerted about that if they found any vehicle with a fake number plate, because they used fake number plate, that is for sure. The number plate was of Siliguri, and also in Siliguri there was one person who was taken into custody by the Matiagara police station, and that person is also being questioned that how is he linked and why the number plate of Siliguri was used. In fact, the car which was bought, it was a second-hand car from OLX. From exactly which person did they buy the second-hand car? Also, the police is investigating into that line as well. So we can clearly see that on different aspects the investigation is underway, but till now the unidentified assailants have not been caught. Back to you.
Yeah. Stay with the pictures, ladies and gentlemen. Known to be someone who was extremely soft-spoken. He was known to most BJP leaders, not just in Bengal, but across the country. Was also in touch reportedly with the central leadership while coordinating the campaign was Suvendu Adhikari. His executive assistant, Chandranath Rath, was shot dead in Madhyam Gram last night. Madhyam Gram, a little after 10 p.m. He was a former Indian Air Force staffer who went on to become the deputy of Suvendu Adhikari. He studied in the Ramakrishna Mission Boys High School. He then joined the Air Force. He was in the Short Service Commission, SSC. He served for 10 years in the Indian Air Force. And then he quit the Indian Air Force and started working with Suendu Adhikari in the year 2018. When Suendu Adhikari, Kishale is also with me. Kishale is on the phone line. Abhishek is also joining me. Abhishek, this was a pre-planned murder. He was marked out. But most importantly, the story of Chandranath, the more you read about him, the more you get to know how critical he was to the entire Suvendu campaign. Not just the Suvendu campaign, but his entry into the BJP, his rise in the BJP in Bengal, his victory in Nandigram, his victory in Bhabanipur. Abhishek.
बिल्कुल, सबसे पहले मैं तस्वीरें आपको दिखाना चाहूँगा। आपने बिल्कुल ठीक कहा कि जो एक कह सकते हैं कि ग्राफ देखने को मिला बढ़ता हुआ, वो ग्राफ शायद कहीं न कहीं जो है वो चुभता हुआ नजर आया। और सुवेंदु अधिकारी ने भी बोला कि मैंने ममता को हराया है, इसलिए मेरे पीए की हत्या की गई है। एक तरीके से बदला जो है वो लिया गया। इस हत्या को लेकर सुवेंदु अधिकारी का बयान भी सामने आया। लेकिन इस बीच तस्वीरें आप देखिए, अंतिम दर्शन के लिए यहाँ पर पार्थिव शरीर को जो है रखा गया और बड़ी संख्या में यहाँ पर लोग जो हैं वो पहुंचे हुए हैं। इन तस्वीरों में आप देख सकते हैं किस तरीके से हजारों की संख्या में लोग पहुंचे हुए हैं। मैं आपको बता दूं कि जो ग्राउंड है, ग्राउंड काफी छोटा ग्राउंड है, लेकिन उसके बावजूद यहाँ पर बड़ी संख्या में लोगों की मौजूदगी है। और पीछे एक रास्ता है, वो रास्ता जो इस ग्राउंड तक आता है, वो रास्ता भी पूरी तरीके से भरा हुआ है। आप ये समझिए कि जगह है, लेकिन यहाँ पर लोग जो है लगातार उनके आने का सिलसिला जारी है। लगातार यहाँ पर अंतिम दर्शन के लिए लोग जो हैं वो पहुँच रहे हैं। और ये तस्वीरें लगातार हम आपको दिखा रहे हैं जिस तरीके से अंतिम दर्शन के लिए बड़ी संख्या में जो ग्रामीण हैं, चंडीपुर के जो लोग हैं, वो बड़ी संख्या में इस वक्त जो है यहाँ पर पहुँच रहे हैं। और दूसरी ओर लगातार इस हत्या को लेकर देखिए कई तरीके की बातें इस वक्त नजर आ रही हैं। सुवेंदु अधिकारी का बयान भी जिस तरीके से निकलकर सामने आया था, जिसमें उन्होंने कहा कि मैं टारगेट था, मुझे टारगेट किया जा रहा था और मेरे बदले जो चंद्रनाथ जो उनके पीए हैं उनकी हत्या कर दी गई है। और सीधे तौर पर उन्होंने कहा कि बदले की राजनीति है भवानीपुर से, और इससे पहले नंदीग्राम से मैंने ममता बनर्जी को हराया था और यही जो हार थी, यही हार सबसे बड़ा कारण बनी है कि यहाँ चंद्रनाथ की हत्या कर दी गई। जी,
It's a family of Abhishek, family of Chandranath Rath there, as they pay tribute, they bid goodbye to the son of Chandipur in Purva Medinipur. Chandranath Rath was the political aide of Suvendu Adhikari, who managed all his legislative work. So Suvendu Adhikari heavily relied on him for every political coordination, whether it's liaising with the media or interviews or coordination with the central leadership. He was central, he was key to everything that Suvendu Adhikari did outside of his political work. Let's take a short break now. On the verdict, ladies and gentlemen, when we come back, getting you more on the live pictures and also the investigation into the murder, the assassination of a man called Chandranath Rath. We'll tell you why it's important. Stay tuned.
AIADMK has been ranked among the top universities globally for producing the most employable graduates by the Times Higher Education UK. Yet another testimony to AIADMK's excellent placement record.
चमकी चाट से क्या बना है?
आलू चाट या फ्रूट चाट,
स्वाद बनाए चमकी चाट।
क्या बात है? स्वादिष्ट पकोड़े और फरसान, अरे चमकी चाट है इसकी जान।
असली स्वाद सिर्फ चमकी चाट।
Introducing the Hitachi Sumo Heavy Duty Air Conditioner. Backed by Japanese innovation, Hitachi Sumo Heavy Duty AC is built to deliver a maximum cooling capacity of up to 7400 watts. Hitachi Sumo Heavy Duty ACs come with a long air throw of up to 24 meters. The Octa sensor technology of Hitachi ACs uses 8 intelligent sensors across indoor and outdoor units. An elegant machine that's bigger, bolder and better. Isn't just an AC. It's a powerhouse built for Indian summer.
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद, यही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा, क्या स्वाद है? अरे मेरे राजा, सबका राजा आटे और मसाला।
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
प्यास बुझाई, ठंडक लाई, सबको भाई जीरा से। MTH का जल जीरा, जीरा से।
जीरा से असली रिफ्रेशिंग, असली स्वाद, असली मजा।
AU करंट अकाउंट के साथ मिलता है फ्री UPI QR ओवरड्राफ्ट फैसिलिटी और एक ही ऐप से बैंक के सारे काम। AU
सोच बदलो और बैंक भी।
प्योर शाही पनीर मसाला, डिलीशियस, हेल्दी एवरी डे।
Approximately 3:30 this afternoon, our plainclothes officers and agents that consistently patrol the outer perimeter of the White House complex identified a suspicious individual that appeared to have a firearm. They called in support from our marked uniformed Secret Service police to make contact with that individual. Upon making contact, that individual fled briefly on foot, withdrew a firearm, and fired in the direction of our agents and officers. They returned fire and engaged. That individual was hit. He's since been transported to the hospital. I have no comments on his condition. I can tell you that at least one, we believe only one bystander was hit by the suspect. That individual is a juvenile, did not sustain any life-threatening injuries, but he's also receiving treatment at the hospital. I'll point out that not long before this shooting occurred, the Vice President's motorcade did transit through this area. The investigation itself, in terms of the use of force in the shooting, will be conducted by Metropolitan Police Department.
Behind the hantavirus outbreak on the cruise ship, we tell you about that at 6:30 p.m. Also, how Iran is looking to take a decision on United States proposal, even as Donald Trump threatens to bomb Iran again in order to build pressure. We also get you what is New Delhi's message to Terroristan on the anniversary of Operation Sindoor. We get you all the stories that matter from across the globe on our Global at 6:30 p.m. with me, Rakshita Mishra.
Introducing the Hitachi Sumo Heavy Duty Air Conditioner. Backed by Japanese innovation, Hitachi Sumo Heavy Duty AC is built to deliver a maximum cooling capacity of up to 7,400 watts. Hitachi Sumo Heavy Duty ACs come with a long air throw of up to 24 meters. The Octa sensor technology of Hitachi ACs uses 8 intelligent sensors across indoor and outdoor units. An elegant machine that's bigger, bolder and better. Isn't just an AC. It's a powerhouse built for Indian summer.
प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ
8 मिनट में तैयार।
क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा आर प्योर मसाला। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
चमकी चाट से क्या बना है?
सैंडविच लस्सी और छाछ
हर घूंट में चमकी चाट। अब बताओ स्वाद आया?
असली स्वाद सिर्फ चंकी चाट।
रानी, इस घर में कुछ है जो टूटता नहीं।
ये पिलर कभी नहीं टूटेगा। रुंगटा स्टील TMT से बना।
रुंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं। रुंगटा स्टील TMT बार एकदम सॉलिड।
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद, यही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा, क्या स्वाद है। अरे मेरे राजा,
AU सेविंग्स अकाउंट में मिलते हैं अमेजिंग बेनिफिट्स, पेपरलेस बैंकिंग एंड हायर इंटरेस्ट, वो भी हर महीने।
मनी 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 एवरी मंथ। सोच बदलो और बैंक भी।
चमकी चाट से क्या बना है?
सैंडविच लस्सी और छाछ
हर घूंट में चमकी चाट। ड्राई फ्रूट और दही बड़े, चमकी चाट से स्वाद बढ़े।
असली स्वाद सिर्फ चंकी चाट।
চুরিও এই ছেলেরা দেখবে সীমান্তের হিন্দুদের বুকে আগলে রাখবো 15 বছর কেটেছি অনেক এবার তোরা ভোটের দিনে ছাপ্পা রেকিং চলবে না সীমা সীমা বাংলা আমার কাঁদবে না তো
Very good evening, viewers. You're watching Republic Global and I am Rakshita Mishra with you, viewers. Today on the show, we bring to you stories from beyond the pond, from what's happening in West Asia to what's happening in Argentina. Iran's response to, much awaited response to US peace proposal, even as we see Trump threatening bombing if diplomacy fails. Israel, meanwhile, says it killed Hezbollah commander in first strike on Beirut since the ceasefire. US judge releases Jeffrey Epstein's purported suicide note allegedly obtained by his former jail cellmate. Also, hantavirus outbreak aboard Dutch cruise ship has spread widespread concerns, worldwide concerns about a new pandemic. Could it be the new pandemic? Well, World Health Organization says that multiple countries are now involved in tracking and monitoring the rare rodent-borne disease. Viewers, let's take a look at the other top stories we're tracking for you. Iran's response to US peace proposal expected today, even as Trump threatens to start bombing Iran if the talks, the diplomacy fails. Israel says it has eliminated the Hezbollah commander in the first strike on Beirut in Lebanon since the ceasefire. US judge releases Jeffrey Epstein's purported suicide note allegedly obtained by his former jail cellmate. Hantavirus outbreak aboard Dutch cruise ship spreads concerns. WHO statement coming in. So as the US pushes a fresh proposal to end the Iran war, the big question now remains, what is next for Iran? Will Tehran agree to strict nuclear conditions in exchange for the sanctions relief and an end to the conflict? Or is the region heading towards another dangerous escalation? Here's more.
After weeks of war, airstrikes and rising tensions across the Middle East, the focus has now shifted to diplomacy. The United States has put forward a new proposal aimed at ending the war with Iran, and Tehran is now reviewing the terms. According to reports, the proposed agreement centers around a 14-point memorandum designed to formally end hostilities and create a framework for long-term negotiations. Under the proposal, Iran would have to halt uranium enrichment for more than a decade and commit to not developing a nuclear weapon. In return, the United States is expected to offer sanctions relief, release billions of dollars in frozen Iranian assets, and ease economic pressure on Tehran. Another key part of the negotiations is the Strait of Hormuz, the critical global oil route that has become central to this conflict. US has now again claimed that they are having good talks with Iran.
And now we're doing well. Now we have to get what we have to get. If we don't do that, we'll have to go a big step further. But with that being said, they want to make a deal. We've had very good talks over the last 24 hours, and it's very possible that we'll make a deal.
But even as diplomatic channels remain open, distrust between Washington and Tehran continues to run deep. Iran has made it clear that it wants guarantees against future attacks, a full end to hostilities, and long-term security assurances. At the same time, the United States and Israel continue to insist on strict limits on Iran's nuclear program. President Trump has said there is a very good chance of ending the war soon, but also warned that failure of talks could lead to more devastating bombing. Inside Iran, the leadership now faces a complex choice. Accept the deal and risk domestic criticism over nuclear concessions, or reject the terms and face the possibility of fresh military escalation. Analysts believe the next few days could decide whether the region moves towards